This isn't standard procedure. I know you're supposed to say the Pledge of Allegiance once, but I'm doing it twice. Anybody got a problem with that? So let's stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance for this. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll be sitting and standing on my back. All right. This is the public hearing, opening of the public hearing. This budget's been out for a couple of weeks, and everybody should have time to review it. I'm proud of the work into this budget. I really am proud. Now, instead of going through the whole thing right away, since it's a public hearing, we need to make a motion to open for the public hearing. Make a motion? Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Stephen?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
On this budget, it's been out for a while. Everybody had time to look at it. It's a public budget. It's not a work session. Anybody got questions? Right up the top. Anybody have questions on this budget that we can go right to? You have till tomorrow to submit written questions. Is it? No? If we leave it, we have till tomorrow.
That's tomorrow's last date.
Any questions on the budget at all? Yes, sir. Please come up here.
First question is, there's no local government exemption impact for tax budget, which is required by law. You go to your property tax law. What that is, in case you've never heard of it, and the research I looked at equals 60, and apparently it's a tradition to not, or attach one to the budget in this village. None of them have it. And what that form is, it's a form that's required by state law that informs the reader who's not paying tax, well, not which types of entities are not paying taxes, and what the impact of that is on tax revenue. For example, it might say religious, that'll be a house of worship, it'll say $2 million assessment not being taxed, etc. That's required by law to be on the budget, and the proposed budget right here, these things right here. And historically, the village has been. It's very important to know that, because if you want to know if it's appropriate for people who are getting exemptions, those exemptions. It's a transparency issue. And the transparency issue is so important that the state says we don't have to tell about it, because the people have to see it. It's not required to file the state taxation reform. It's for the people. And against it. Like I said, real property tax section 495, simple two-paragraph read that says it has to be there. And it's not. So I'd be interested to know why this village never did it for decades, and why it's not been corrected by anybody. You guys have had attorneys and advisors, accountants, and everything else. And to me, it's a deliberate omission of transparency, which is you guys know by now, transparency. And we don't know who's not paying taxes, and we don't know if those non-payments or exemptions are legitimate. And we all know I brought up a big project that's apparently illegitimate, and we don't know what's going on here, and it's supposed to be there. So that's a question that you're not going to be able to answer, but you should be able to correct that.
Rob, can I interrupt for a
Yes.
second? I appreciate that and found out about that, and I instructed the clerk to contact the town on that, and Debbie,
I'll answer.
yeah, please.
Reno, are you okay, Fran?
Yeah, you can answer, but I know what you said, okay.
Okay. So one, it's not a deliberate omission, that's number one. Number two, I found out about this today. Not that it's the law, but I found out that there is a report that we can get. I did contact the assessor's office, and we should be getting that information. Once we do, we would add it to the budget.
Okay, well,
But in the past, they had given you a bit of a hard time, right? You were saying?
No, what I had asked for in the past was the detailed locations. They don't give you the detailed locations. What they give you is a summary of the categories.
yeah, the type, like I said, the
And
church,
the amount,
house of worship.
let me finish, you asked a question, let me finish. They give you the subjects of the categories, and that they can give you. What I had asked in the past was the actual section block and lot. That they do not do.
No. But it's a form, it's not,
It's not a form, it's
That's a form.
an actual report.
yeah, it's a form, that they fill out the boxes and say who's what and whatever. It's a,
Are
anyway,
you referring to 494?
495.
Okay, 495, because I'm sorry, 494 is only a million more, but 495 you're referring to?
Yeah, 495. Like the town has on their budget, for example. And that brings me to the other issue. We pay taxes to the town, and I don't know what shared services besides an assessor and the animal control officer, which really falls under the police department, that we get services from them from. But this is an obligation of the town assessor, because, you know, we don't have an assessor, and it's his obligation to issue these to the municipalities. I don't know if Walton's ever gotten them or Maybrook's ever gotten them. And it's not a matter of should they give it to you, it's they're required to give it to you. And we pay for that. So I don't know why for the history of ever, it's never been done, but it's
I think
important to
we've
know.
also- We've been in a mindset that we're the village and the town.
Well, that's not the case. We are the village and the town. Village residents are town residents. It's not the other way around. And they divide us up like the Hatfields and McCoys here. We are town residents also. We vote for the town politicians. They don't vote for us.
Okay, so moving on to, it's just a typo error probably, but on page 5, sidewalk maintenance, it says it was 5,000 last year, 3,000 this year with a change of 0%, so obviously it was minus like 40% this year. Probably just a typo, just housekeeping on that. Celebrations on line, page 6. It says it's going down from $20,000 to $10,000. My question is, how many celebrations are there, and why aren't those celebrations line items for how much of that 10,000 will go to each one of those itemized celebrations? Because I don't think anyone knows what the defined celebrations are. So I think that should be broken down, how many, if it's 1, if it's 5, if it's 10, and the allocation of funds to each one of those celebrations. So we know there might not be enough to do with celebrations, have to cancel it and move the money to another. And I think that would be a matter for the board and or the people to opine. So that, I believe, should be line items, so we know what celebrations are getting, how many of those $10,000 reduced from 20,000. What else? So, and this goes hand in hand with what I said about the impact report. On page 10, right at the top, it says pilot fees, $32,950. Can you explain what pilot fees are?
Private is, payment in lieu of taxes, Montgomery Manor, Montgomery Housing. There was negotiations done way before my time, so I can't tell you when that started. But they are to pay us, as well as the town, the school, I don't remember if it's firehouse to make those payments.
So there's an entity out there with a pilot, and that's the payment they're making?
Payment in lieu of taxes.
Right, but that's, I'm saying, it says
Yes.
fee, so that was like an application fee or anything like that.
That's not an application.
Okay, so the fee is
Well,
the
that's
actual
Payment
payment?
in lieu
I'm
of.
not, that's, I don't know if it's a pilot, because that was under the public finance, housing law, which is not a pilot. It's the only area in the law where you have a tax agreement. Tax agreements are not legal.
Mhm.
The only way you do it is through a pilot, with the exception of that New York public finance law, which that entity, if I understand it, was done, back 40
Yeah,
plus years
you
ago.
know exactly where I'm going with that, code 48660 for HDFC, that's not one, just like Hawkins Drive. But anyway, thank you for that clarification. So to clarify, you're saying that line shouldn't exist as a pilot fee line?
It's not a pilot, that's all I'm saying. I mean, I don't know, it could be, I know what fees generate, because again, before my time, but it's not a pilot in the normal sense of what the pilots are.
That's
My
why I asked.
understanding, that's how it was defined in the contract, so that's been like that for the last some years. So we need to change that, I need to get the right.
That's one of the plagues we have around here, is two answers that we get a lot of things is, I don't know, and that's how it's always been done. It's a disease we have around here, it's more than a plague. And it's always been done that way,
I'm willing to change it, no.
not you,
one's
it's not
told me,
you, I'm just saying
but
in
I'm
general.
letting you know, I need to be.
It's the most popular answer you ask around here to somebody about something. Mortgage tax. I'm assuming the mortgage tax payments, that's on the same page, 10, they went from 142,000 to 46,000 to 40,000 in like 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Am I to assume that that means whatever portion of mortgage tax is paid by homeowners, is that the mortgage at a inception tax, or is that their interest on the mortgages they pay?
Inception.
So the mortgage tax you pay when you
So
get your
3
mortgage.
years ago was when the mortgage company was doing, the mortgages were doing very well. And what has happened over time, you're not seeing the the new mortgages come out. I've asked that question of Orange County, and it has been with precipitous decline.
Okay,
That's something I brought up last year. One of the reasons why we need to look at the revenues is because if we continue to look at these other revenues that are coming in, and if we see precipitous decline in those types of items like mortgage tax and other things, we need to somehow supplement that with other revenues.
Okay, so that's the inception, gotcha. I'm just going through to see what else I highlighted here. The wage increases for employees of the village. It seems like there's been, and I was a city employee, and we had what was called, typically until we broke pattern, something called pattern bargaining, where whatever raise one city agency got, they all said, I want that too, and the city actually preferred it, they would go to the weakest one to get the weakest number, and then try to force it down everybody's throat. I'm looking here, there's different, everyone seems to be getting 6% except for office staff, library staff, and senior staff here. Looks like it's broken down to under 3% for the office staff, or 4%, and 6% for everybody else. I made a comment last week that the reason why this village is as good as it is because of the employees, not the politicians. They're the ones to pick up the garbage, make sure the water comes out, etc. when you turn the faucet on. And I don't understand why one employee would get a different percentage raise than another in something this small. And I did a little bit of brief math, assuming 2,450 tax-paying residences and entities or whatever, businesses. I think to give everybody 6% comes out to something like $1.15 a month per household or something extra.
$1.22.
$1.22? Okay. I'm not smarter than a fifth grader, math, whatever. But somewhere around $1.22 or whatever a month per homeowner, taxpayer, to make sure everybody gets the proper 6% raise. No one gets insulted saying their work was worth 6% more and yours is worth 2.5 or 3 or 4 or whatever percent more. That's an insult. It's an insult to the employees, it's an insult to the taxpayer that you would chisel something that small away for an unknown reason. Doesn't make any sense. With that, what is the actual increase in taxes as a percentage from this budget compared to last year?
So if you look at the budget, can you guys hear me? Yeah, use the microphone. If you look at the budget from last year, on the front page of the budget that is on the desk there, if you haven't grabbed one, it was 19.5868%. This year it's 20.591%. If we go with the budget that was published on the 20th, it'll be 5.1286. That's not final until they adopt the budget.
Okay, so I'm just a little curious where that number comes from. And I'm going to tell you why I'm curious, and you can tell me what I'm doing wrong, because obviously I'm doing something wrong. So on the first page of our new budget proposal for this year, and I'm just going to take 3 samplings of numbers on the first page. Well, I'm just going to use one. I'm not going to take up the whole time here. But if you look at where it says real estate tax levy, that sounds like how many dollars you're going to collect from real estate taxes.
That's correct.
Okay. And it says for this year, that number is $4,625,920. Is that accurate? Do I have the right one? That same budget number, that same line number, tax levy for last year is $3,940,341. That's a difference of 17.4. So if that's a difference of 17.4, how is the total budget increase 5.8 or whatever? That's what I'm asking. And you're going to tell me what I'm doing wrong, obviously.
Ron, if you don't mind, can you share how the calculation works?
Yeah, the general fund.
You need the microphone, I'm sorry. Pass him the microphone, Ron, please.
The general fund tax levy is $3,940,341 last year, and it's now currently going to be $4,625,000. It's an increase of $685,000, which is a 17.39% increase. But you have to take into consideration your budgeted revenues as well as your appropriated fund balance. So the actual tax rates are going to go up from 19.5868 to 20.59, which is a $1 increase per thousand, which is 5.12% is what you're actually paying.
So $1 per thousand sounds like 10 cents per hundred, which sounds like something that's not 5.2%. So I don't know where I'm making my miscalculations out loud for someone to be able to help me out and understand how
Yeah.
the numbers jive.
$1 divided by the 19.
The increase, the tax rate, minus the 19.58 over the 19.58. That's a year-over-year change. That's where that number comes from.
I don't understand that. Is this what you said?
A year-over-year change. You take the new minus old over old.
Right, so
That's
I
the
gave you the new,
calculation.
so the new's not, let's use the dollar.
The new is
$20.
20.68, which is on the right hand, the left hand, where it says 2026 projected, minus the old, which is 19.58 over the old. That's a year-over-year change calculation.
But you're changing the percentages. If we just go back
Not
to the
changing the
dollars,
percentages.
what does the 19 represent then?
So the 19.58, what it does, it represents how much is charged per household. So you divide the average household, which is 148,000, divided by 1,000, and then you multiply it by that number. That'll be your increase, your tax rate, excuse me. If you want, we could give you a class on that separately.
No, I don't know if I'm the one to be mocked here, because I'm
No,
just.
I'm not mocking you, I'm just saying, so if you're not catching it.
If you collected 3.9 from the taxpayer last year, and you're collecting 4.6 from the taxpayer this year, that's an increase of 17%.
Where are you getting the 3.9 from? That's what I'm not thinking.
I'm getting it from what he just said, which agrees with what I have here, which is last year's real estate tax levy. So if last year's real estate tax levy, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is how many dollars you're gonna collect from real estate taxes, 3.940,241. This year, the same number, the same category is 4,625,920. The difference between those two numbers in dollars is 17.40% increase in the dollars you're collecting. Now, if there's 1,000 new houses that are paying taxes, so that's why the dollars went up, I could wrap my head around that, but I don't think that's the case.
Well, it's not 10%. 1.045 divided by 19.58 is 0.051, which is 5.1%.
Okay, I'm gonna just stick with what I just said, because what you're saying is not addressing what I'm asking. If you're collecting almost $1 million more in tax revenue from real estate, or not, what was it, 4.6? So $700,000 more, $700,000 more in real estate taxes, and the difference between that is 17.4% from last year. So sticking with that premise, tell me where I'm making a mistake. The difference between the dollars you collected last year and the dollars you collect on this year is 17.4% in dollars. I'll leave it at that. The budget,
Is it okay if Mr. Sullivan comes in tomorrow and explains it more?
I think everyone needs the explanation, not just me.
All right.
I just don't understand where it comes from.
Okay, I'm just trying to show.
Yeah, I get it. That's why I'm just gonna go on to the next thing. So last thing is, the fund balance policy. So I know there was a lot of talk about fund balance last year and using it for fire hydrants and not allowed to use it with read in the newspaper, and some people think it's illegal to use it, some people say you have to pay it back with interest. Why is the fund balance not on the budget broken down into the 5 categories, like unrestricted, unassigned, assigned, non-spendable, restricted, committed, etc.? How much was carried over how much is in the unassigned, unrestricted fund balance for this projected budget? How many dollars? I'm not making this up, this is your guys' fund balance policy. So I'm not making it up. It's supposed to be broken down.
Excuse me, Jake, how many hydrants are still out?
3.
Three hydrants are still out. Can you please, as soon as possible, get me the number to repair them? And then I want to have an emergency meeting. This is almost a year. I want to have an emergency meeting to figure out funding to fix those 3 hydrants.
Figure 80,000.
I want them done now. I want the hydrants done now.
There's supposed to be an uncommitted, unrestricted, unassigned fund balance, which by law is a pot of money as part of the overall fund balance that the board can elect to use for something that's a durable good in consumer terms, 5 years or more lasting. You can't use it to do something minimal. You could use it for something that's 5 years or more in life, which a fire hydrant sounds like. We've still not heard what's going to happen with these fire hydrants that don't work. And why isn't the fund balance broken down in at least the 5 categories? There could be 7.
Is that a budget officer question or is that a Roncom question to answer? Who answers
Well,
that
I've never
question?
seen a budget where it breaks down the fund balance, but
Or village necessity for something that's for 5 years or longer duration at their discretion, right?
I wouldn't recommend it.
I didn't ask you if you recommend it, sir. I'm asking you if they're allowed to do it.
Yeah, if you want to bring the fund balance down to 0, which I.
I didn't say spend it all. I just asked you the general question, because people have said things like it's against the law to spend that money, it's illegal to spend the money. If you spend it, you have to pay it back with interest by next year. All kinds of, that's the way things were done and stuff. So I'm just asking the question, so everyone's clear, including the board, that $900,000 approximate dollars are unrestricted, unassigned dollars for next year's budget. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
And the board at its discretion can use that money at its discretion for village necessities for things that will last 5 years or longer. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Rob, I would like to go further on the village employees here. We have 11 non-union village employees. They're the reason that this place runs. They are the reason. I make no bones about it. I've said it several times that they're underpaid. 2 people here, they get their eyes open, but I hope they don't leave, but they can use me as a reference. Like I said, they're way below average. West Haverstraw, the clerk down there, exactly what our clerk does here, part-time, makes $50,000 part-time. They're dedicated employees. They've been working, we've all been working on this budget since late December, and we've been working hard. Have I been working with them that hard? No. Why? Because I appointed them to these positions because they're competent. And when you rise up the chain, your span of control is a lot less. I don't have to micromanage them. They know what they're doing. That's how this came today.
Who's the budget officer?
I am. That's why I have appointed people who could run it. That's what a boss does.
I
A
just want to
boss
say-
appoints the right people to do the right jobs. And obviously tonight, you can see what they did.
I just want to say that in response, as an employer myself, I can tell you that it's absolutely true. I have a policy that I'm not going to pay my employees a rate of pay that they'll leave and go somewhere else to do the same job for more money. I make it where they can't leave. It's like in the movie. Now you can't leave because you're not going to be able to get paid when I'm paying you to do the same job you're doing for me somewhere else. Because for me, it's a headache to have to employ somebody else and go through all the compliance with New York State and everything else that's involved in employing people. So I might understand what the gripe over what amounts to probably $20,000 to $25,000 over the course of the year to pay the employees an equal parity in pattern bargaining, essentially, to give everyone the same raise, because they all deserve it. If it's not for them, it's not because of any of you that the snow gets plowed. It's not because of any of you that the police respond in less than a minute, I believe, right, Chief? Response time less than 1 minute? Less than a minute. I can tell you as someone whose response time was probably 6.5 minutes. Less than a minute is unheard of. So shame on you guys if you think one employee is deserving of a percentage wage increase more than somebody else, because they all do a kick-ass job. That's it.
An increase for taxes of 3% for these 11 non-union employees would be 74 cents. For 4% would be 88 cents. And to give them 6% would be $1.22. $1.22 for 11 dedicated employees here. And am I the budget officer? You're absolutely right. And I was a high-ranking official in the police department. And I had competent people working for me. Some might not have to watch more than others, but I knew where my people were, and I know what's happening here, and you can see it all around. You go to Village Hall, you call up on the phone, they know what they're doing. Everything from the director down to the senior center, all over the place. So I have no problem paying $1.22 a month to keep these non-union employees, especially when they're low paid the most. So continue on. Next question, please.
Mike, can I just address one thing?
Yes.
Because one thing, I can't speak on the legalities, Rob, but what I could do is do a follow-up with Lino to understand the legalities of using the unappropriated fund balance. The appropriated fund balance, this village has used $625,000 year over year. One of the reasons why they do that is to keep the taxes low. Because the minute you make the change to that unappropriated fund balance, appropriated fund balance of the 625, the tax rate goes up significantly. So that's one of the reasons why I keep it at 625. Is it something we should be doing year over year? No, absolutely not. However, we've been trying to raise taxes to a portion where people can feel a little more comfortable than double digits, etc. So, but that's one thing we could do. 2, I'll check with Lino. What are the legalities of using the unappropriated fund balance? That's something we should do. And then 3, with regards of the appropriated fund balance, one of the reasons why Ron, our accountant, who's very good at what he does, shared that he doesn't recommend it is because if you look at the last 4 years, and Ron, I don't have last year's number in front of me, you might have it, but in terms of the stress score of this village, 4 years ago we were at 300,000. I'm gonna estimate, by the way, I don't have the exact number, so don't quote me.
301,000.
301. The year after that was we were at 500 something thousand. The year after that, Ron, we were at 600, is that correct?
575 and 24, 565 and 25, and projected to be at 936, which is, we're increasing the fund balance.
Right, so one of the things you have to do is to be a village that is considered in good standing, you want to have anywhere from 3 to 4 months of fund balance feasibly available. And by us taking the 625 to save the taxpayers a little bit of money, that's what hurts us. So as we go in the direction where we're starting to see the curve, yes, taxes are going up, but also the appropriated balance is staying steady. Eventually, we should be lowering that number, and then, but it's gonna be a hard hit for the taxpayer. So that's why I wanted to share. Now, from a legal perspective, I'll talk to Lino about how to manage the what can and can't we use.
And does that deserve a 3% or a 6% raise? I'll pay $1.22 a month to have somebody like that work here.
So just to respond, because I feel like I have to, I understand the idea of having, and even in your personal finances, you should have whatever they say, 3 months worth of bills in your bank to pay it. The difference is in your personal life, you might lose your job or something like that. The village is not going to lose its revenue stream of taxes because either the people are going to pay it or the bank that takes the house from them is going to pay it. So I understand having to keep some money, and if you have 500 one year or 2.7 million the next year, guess what? It's just an inventory item at that point. You're not doing anything different. We didn't have the lights go out on us because it was 300 or 500,000. But at $80,000 not being used out of 900,000, and someone might die because of it, is asinine. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Evening, board. First, I'm not really sure how you're running this, whether we're coming up with questions or in fact after the question period you would actually go over the budget. Because one of the first things you should have stated was what is the budget increase and the numbers associated with it. You didn't do that, and I'm not sure anybody really knew. So what is it? Are you doing question and answer period now and then you're going to go over line by line on the budget?
I'm not gonna go over line by line, I'm gonna go page, and if we see something,
Okay.
we'll stop
All right.
there, but you can talk. That's,
Okay. That's fine.
It's public session.
Yep. Well, we've never quite done it like this before, so that's why I'm asking the question.
Things change.
That's right, that's why I'm asking the question.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so you guys are talking a lot about the fund balance, and you know every year when I come to these meetings, me and Ryan talk about the fund balance. And Let me just ask one question to start off with. Is any fund balance money being used for this budget? Could you give me a number?
625.
625. And we're still gonna have a remaining fund balance of 1.5 million?
Total fund balance, projected to be at $1.5 million.
Okay, after the use of the 625.
No, that's total fund balance, appropriated 625, unappropriatedly 936.
Okay. So we're using 625 out of the fund balance for this particular budget. Okay, so I have been very vocal on my concerns about the budgets, not only here in the village, but throughout the state of New York, and I constantly bring up questions to this board. One of my biggest fears is that you can talk about increases and all that kind of stuff, but the facts are that there's a mass exodus of people from this village that can't afford to live here. You want to talk about the 700 people that have moved into this village from Bergen, Westchester, New York City, that can afford to live here. But we're losing the essence of what our village is all about because of taxes. And I think a few years ago, you even admitted that to me.
I admitted to what?
That the reason people are leaving New York is because of taxes.
Leaving New York,
Right.
not the village of Montgomery.
Montgomery's in New York, I think.
I know that, but you're making it sound like they're leaving the village of Montgomery because of the village of Montgomery. If you recall, I said they're leaving the village of Montgomery because of New York State, not the village of Montgomery. As a matter of fact, I heard people say they wish they could take the village of Montgomery with them. I would have been one of those people who, if the state would have left here because of the taxes, but my family lives here, so we're staying here. But I know why people are leaving New York State. And it's not the village of Montgomery.
Well, with the type of increases that we're having here throughout Montgomery, it has become unaffordable. I'm on a fixed income. I have one income. And it's getting to a point where how long can I last? And I'm sure there's a lot of seniors in the back of me are thinking the same thing. And it's getting very precarious. And I bring up the example, and I know you in particular never want to talk about this, and I know a bunch of the fellows in the back don't want to talk about this, but I did a little bit of homework on this. Since 2021, the police department's budget, not including the retirement section of the budget, has gone up 54%. All right? They've gone up from $1 million to $1.6 million in 5 years. It's an awful lot of money. The retirement is even larger as far as percentage. The retirement section of the police is in 2021 was $95,000. This budget is $278,000. That's an increase of 187%. It gets to a point where we simply can't afford it. And I've talked openly about our police department and what needs to be done. And what I firmly believe with all these increases, and I know, Darlene, you know that I've talked to Hurley many, many times at these budget proceedings about his budgets when he proposed his budgets. And many of you board members were not on this board. Mike was, but I know Darlene always listens. It becomes to a point where we can't afford to do this. And everybody in here, I believe, understands that I'm an advocate of consolidation. I think that's what we have to do here to get back in line. I believe we have to start having that conversation somewhere along the line, because people just can't afford to have within our own townships 4 police departments. I mean, it gets to a point that it gets carried away in my view. To help support that, the police budget this year, the proposed budget, is 34.6% of the entire village budget. That's a lot of money. To the extent of $1,600,000. That's an awful lot of money, 34% of our budget. And I think we really have to look into that. And what my fear is that at the work session, I heard language from the work session from the chief of police that I personally wasn't happy with. He seems to believe that he can increase his budget lines, just keep increasing and increasing. And then he used the word arbitration. And I'm wondering, geez, why is he bringing up the word arbitration at this work session? Why is that? Is that a thuggery type thing? I don't know what was in his head by even bringing that up. It was a work session for this budget line. That's all, to discuss it. And I took it as a threat. We're going to go to arbitration. He didn't have to do that, but he did. He did. And I really believe that we really need to take a hard look at it. I think as far as full-time employees, I think we have 5 now, and I think potentially there is a request for perhaps a 6th person. I don't know that we can continue in this manner and afford this sort of thing. That's enough with the police department, but I think you all get my point on that. The other thing I'm concerned about is the contractual lines. I've been coming to these meetings and these budget meetings for many, many years, and you all know that. The one thing that the board, previous boards, have not been able to define was what's the contractual line? What's in it? What can you use it for and all this? And just our past meetings here recently, the mayor has talked about using part of his contractual line to do roofs and things like this. And I don't know what the legality of doing stuff like that. I thought the contractual line was to get your office supplies and your phones and all those nuances to take care of all that stuff that didn't have to come out of your pocket. But, you're talking broadly and, I'm going to use my money to do this. I really wish, and I've asked many, many times, define what a contractual line is. And everyone, every line here, every department, every person, the trustees, you all have a contractual line. Some of them are rather large, some of them are minuscule. But there's still a contractual line, and it's a very large portion of the budget. So I really wish that you guys would finally decide what's in our contractual line and what are the uses of that contractual line. Not just to throw paper on the wall and see if it sticks. I think we really need to define those things. And the one thing that I agree with what Rob says is that, we never give answers to anything. And I think we deserve those answers. And in ending all of this, what I will say is that I'm personally really proud of this board and the work they've put in with the work session and all that, and you really, really attacked it because the original budget was pretty high, way up there. And you really attacked it. I think you've done a good job. I think there's more work to be done, and I hope that you don't close this public hearing today and giving us 1 day for written comments. I've never heard of that. Normally you give about a week or so. I've never heard of a 1 day letter to the board on this sort of thing. But I hope you keep this open because I think there's still work to be done. It's only the 7th. You don't have to have a budget until the beginning of May 1st, I believe. So I think there's work to be done, and hopefully you guys do that.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Just a couple things I got to respond to on that. Thank you for your time, Tom. I do appreciate it. I know me and you sat down a couple times, we did talk about some things, and in our conversations there, you seemed very happy with the way things are going with PD, so it's a little bit of a shock when you come out and say that, I guess threaten the board or the budget for something like that.
Talking to the mic a little bit better.
Sorry. So according to, this is from CP New York, for budgets throughout the county, we are the 8th lowest per capita department in, again, the county. That, we last year, where our budget was 1.3 million. Again, there's 8 departments that are, or 7 departments that are higher than us than that per capita that they're paying per resident. So
When we go up to 1.6, I mean, we're doing everything we can to run this department the way the village residents deserve. And we do have less than a minute response time. We had multiple cardiac arrests in the last month, which, you know, we get there within a minute. We have an AED, and we have CPR in progress. We're saving lives. So really, it's, you know, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the insurance of having your life saved if a situation like that occurs. Yeah, I mean, as far as, you know, the increase, it's, when we discussed before about the contract, I believe that it is important that we do approve this contract because it's gonna help us retain officers. One of the biggest issues we had this year was officer retention and having to play this game of can the part-time officers cover full-time hours? You know, and having a full-time staff guarantees that coverage, guarantees the service towards the village is always gonna be exemplary, you know, instead of will we have one guy on, will we have two guys on, will we have no one on because we can't get anyone to cover it, except with overtime, which then explodes the overtime budget, and we can budget for, accurately for full-time officers, more accurate than we can budget for part-time officers that can't always work, which then leads to overtime for the full-time officers. That's all I really got. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Again, as the budget officer or the mayor, my number one thing here is the safety of the residents. Number one, safety. That includes fire and police. Everything else is second to that. When you lock your door at night and you go to bed, you have to know that this board is doing the best it can to make sure you are safe. We are in the top 100 safest communities out of 39,000 in this country. Should we cut our budget and become maybe 500 safest communities? Who wants to be the victim there? Not me. I'm happy with what I have. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make a point. I'm getting really tired of hearing consolidate this, consolidate that. I don't know how people think they're going to save money. If we consolidate, do town police officers make more than the village?
Yes.
They do, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So it's not magic. If we take these guys and we consolidate to the town, because you're going to need more officers, because now it's the village too, what do you think is going to happen to your town tax?
Stacy, may I interrupt for 1 second? They also, the town has what's called I used to refer to it years ago as a tier 1 retirement, which God bless them, it's great. But if we were to do that to this village, bring them into a tier 1 retirement, it would run somewhere like $50,000 to bring them into this stuff. And I could be wrong on the numbers, but it's way up there. So if they were to be absorbed into the town, it would be an incredible amount of money we have to pay the town police, their tier 1, and us. And again, I don't want to see the town police done away with, because there was a study done a couple of years ago, and it said do away with the town police. If they tried to do that, I'd be the first one in front of the town hall protesting that. But I want my own village police department, so I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's a numbers game. You're going to pay it. So if I'm going to pay it, I'd rather pay it here, right, where our kids are playing in the park, all that kind of stuff. And another thing that I find really ironic is a lot of the people that are complaining, they're coming into an age where they're on a fixed income. I'm not far from that, okay? I get it. I'm going to have to look at my household, and I'm going to have to look at my budget, like we have to look at this budget. But we also have to remember, people can afford it because they're moving here. They might be the younger generation. They may not be you. It may not be me. I may have to move. That's unfortunate, but I'm coming into the next phase of my life. It's not nice, it's not right, but it's life, and it happens. And a lot of these people that are complaining moved here because there was a police station, a park. They moved here because they liked it. Now their lifestyle has changed, so they want to change our village. I'm not okay with that. And if I ever say stuff like that, remind me, because that's wrong. Because I can't afford it, now I want everybody should have the same chance to raise their family the way that they raised theirs. So, that's all.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak, and thanks for all your work on this budget. Had a couple comments and a couple questions. I'm sure you remember a lot of people in the audience, some people who are here, some people who are not here, have asked, like the town does, for a presentation. Is that going to happen, or has the board decided for that not to happen? Presentation of the budget with a slideshow so everyone can see. A lot of people have requested that. Has this board heard those requests or ignored them?
Had a
The town
presentation
does a
for
presentation,
consolidation?
not consolidation, I'm
Well,
not
I'm
talking
not
about
sure
the
what
budget.
you're talking about.
The town does a presentation
Okay.
of the budget. This is what it is, this is the proposed budget, so that people can see it and they can see it up on a screen, up on TVs. A lot of people in this audience have asked for that over the last several months.
Well, wasn't it put online?
Years.
Is it online?
That's not what I'm talking about.
He's referring to a PowerPoint that kind of describes the story of the budget. That's correct?
Yes, visuals for people to see, like the town does, and a lot of us like that. And many people, if you remember, if you go back in the minutes, many people have asked for that. So my question is, has this board ignored that, or did you discuss that as something you might do, or might not do, or don't care? I'm just curious, did you hear us or not?
That's not my decision.
I'm not talking to you.
Board decision.
So my question, actually, because this is a Q&A, you made it a Q&A, did the board hear those requests, and did they discuss it, or did they ignore those requests?
They heard it, and I don't know about the rest of the board, but I discussed it with Debbie, and she was prepared and asked for input from the other board members to make that presentation, and nobody gave her any input.
Okay, yeah, I just haven't heard it or anything about it. I've heard many people request it, and I'm just curious, is it going to happen next meeting, after this Q&A session? Is that slide, screen gonna come down and it's all gonna project, or not?
Well, it's not gonna happen this year.
Not a problem. Next year, I hope more people will come to you, because some did, and I hope you'll take it a little more seriously.
For the record, I'm just gonna say, that's not the conversation I recall, and I've been presenting the town's presentations for 2 years to this board to try to get them to give everybody a visual. I think there was a visual that we've had, that we've shared in the past, that I think I've shared on social media about an illustration of the ridiculous, no offense to you, equation that makes the tax cap and the tax levy. I think the visual of it is much different. And
Can't really hear if you use the microphone.
Sorry. So I think it would be very helpful for everyone. It can be online, it can be at the meeting, and I've requested it, and I don't recall that conversation at all. The only conversation I recall having with Debbie is, I will help you, I will create one, and this is not about Debbie at all, because Debbie has nothing to do with this, it's a board decision. But I think that would be very helpful, and while we're on this discussion, I think the way that you explained the levy versus the rate tonight, in the years that I've been paying attention as a resident, and the 3 years that I've been on this board, the sentence that you used tonight, and I'm gonna go back and review it, made the most sense out of any time you've ever said it. So I'll have to go back and review that, and we can incorporate it into next year's budget presentation. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Hey, can I just add just one thing on that? So, I've done this for other villages and towns in my career, and
Leave the line.
sure, just a comment on that. You are correct, a lot of villages. There are a lot of villages and towns that do those presentations, like a PowerPoint, but it's just, like it's not required by law. Of course. Yeah, but NICOM says, they say, you have a budget, you file in the office, and it's up to you all to go look at it.
Great.
The presentations, it's, again, if the town wants to do the village, it's not required, I just want to make sure you understand that. They can do it, it's helpful, I understand that, because I know a lot of places do that, but when you call NICOM, they'll say, no, all you gotta do is, in state law just says, file the budget, make it available, public can look at it and ask questions like you're doing now.
Totally good.
Thank you.
This I don't necessarily need an answer to, but it was interesting that the judge got a 13% raise, and the associate justice got a 2.8% raise, and the clerk got 0 raise. So I don't need answers to those. I know you all looked at that and discussed that, but that is something that I will agree with others who spoke before me, that the if the clerk getting no raise, everything in this world has gone up. So if the clerk got no raise, they're essentially losing money. So something to look at, I'm sure you've looked at it a lot. Why are there such discrepancies with those raises? It comes down to employees. I've been an employer, I've been an employee, I've been a manager. We try to give raises for people that are deserving of them at what is to the cost of living. The auditor, that seemed to go up a lot, 6,500 to 9,000. The inspections, for the elections. I would like an answer to this, if not now, sometime in the next week. Why did the cost of the election proposed for next year go up to 6,000 from approximately 3,600?
We have no election.
Next year, 2027. The proposed cost is 6,000. But the last time, 24 and 25, it was 3657. So how do you propose that it's almost going to double in 2027? I just don't understand why it's
No,
going to
that's
cost.
okay. I could explain some of it. What happens is you're looking at actuals versus forecast. Right now, that's the estimates that the election team has given us. So that's why we keep it. So if you look at the budgeted amount for the previous years, it was always 6,303. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And when you're talking about overtime, I appreciated how that was broken down. 23, $16, and we had 11.5% increase last year, and this year it's 5.3%. Roughly those numbers that we talked about. I hope you're all working toward, maybe next year it's 3%, maybe the year after that it's 1%. There was a lot of times where there was no increases, so a lot of us understand that math when we look at it from the 10,000
Well, that is the hope that we do lower it, but the years where it was zero, had I been mayor, it would not have been zero.
Sure.
It would have always rose. It would have always went up just a little bit, so we wouldn't catch ourselves in these messes like we did last year.
Well, that's kind of one of the reasons that we're trying to keep a damper on some of the things, is it's a smooth, progressive curve,
Right.
not let's hit you with 25% this year. And so a lot of the times when you see people work with 4% or 5% or 6%, incremental. We're trying to do incremental savings to make the entire budget more palatable so it doesn't drive people out.
Yep, which is my point that I observed, and I appreciate that. Is there a line for parks improvement? Or am I not understanding where that goes? To improve the park and make the parks even better. I see repairs, utility, contractual, equipment, personnel.
Desperately needed money.
So that's what I'm officially requesting. Library, I see that went up 12%. I appreciate that. If somebody goes to the library, and some people know me as a book person, I definitely appreciate that. The historian staying the same, that's great. And I also request that we keep this public hearing open. Do not close it tonight. I do not feel that 24 hours is enough time for people to listen to everything that was said here, get ideas, and then come back. I request that you keep it open tonight and vote to not close the public hearing tonight, and give more time than one day for people to comment who maybe couldn't come, maybe can't watch it, and I appreciate the time. That's all I've got.
I'd just like to add to your,
Sorry, can we extend it past tomorrow, or was that a date?
You could extend it past tomorrow. You could extend it past tomorrow. I just wanted to comment on park. Let me comment on his questions first before we get into dates. On park improvements, one of the things that's happening, as everyone knows here, is we have the New York Forward grants, right? Those lines have not been created yet because we haven't signed the contract. We've signed our end, now it's up to them to sign their end. They're gonna be meeting with me this week so we could talk about next steps in terms of how long it's gonna take for them to sign the contract. We didn't set up the lines yet because we didn't wanna set up a line for park improvement until that comes. Once we do, you'll see a revenue line and an expense line going in.
Great, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay?
I do want to add on the town slides. The town board does not make the slides. It's the town employees who make the slides, not the town board.
I don't care who makes it, I'm curious if the town
I
board heard
understand,
our request,
I
and if it was willing to happen.
understand. I also want to let you know those town employees are paid a lot more than our employees here, and they have a lot more staff to do it.
It's possible for it to be done.
Possible, however, they run crazy down there sometimes. So they are doing enough just to get what we've got here.
So maybe you all didn't hear our ask of it, so you hear it now. So for next year, as you're talking for the next budget, I hope that it will be part of the plan for next year. That's
Well, I hope so too, but I want to have the budget go, I want to have the tax rate go down more than having a slide.
Both could happen. Thank you.
Anybody else? I have one more comment.
So I want to get back to what I had talked about with the seniors and things such as that. You know, Ms. Selman made some very good points, but you know what all those points are? It's called conversation, and bringing everybody together to have that conversation. There's nothing wrong with conversation, but let's get back to the seniors and what my belief is, and I think there's going to be a point where we're really going to be hurting. Is that I see on your agenda, you have a property tax exemption, which is well-deserved for that cause. Recently, within the past few months, I forget exactly when it happened, we gave the fire department a tax exemption in the town. I believe the village also did that. So why can't we, if you would consider, at least get into the conversation, that big word conversation again, get into a conversation for a senior exemption, similar to what the towns and villages in Putnam County is doing right now, to give us a break. I think our seniors, there's seniors here that solely, their own sole income is Social Security, for God's sakes. And they just can't afford it. So I'm wondering if you guys would consider having a conversation of having a tax exemption for the seniors in your village, similar to, you could use like the STAR expansion, exemption on the STAR. They're income-based, age-based, the whole 9 yards, and use a formula similar to that. But I would hate for myself, and I'll only speak for myself, my retirement can only go so far. And my family right now is already discussing, I just came from Ireland, and one of the tables in Ireland, we sat around saying, how much more can we take? We got to get out of here. And here, me in the village, with all the cumulative taxes that we have, the village is part of New York State. And I think we need to consider that and give some help to the seniors. You know, all these new folks that are coming up, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to pay an extra rate for their police departments or for the services we get here. All right? Why not? Why? I'm hoping that you guys would consider that type of conversation. Thanks.
Anybody else?
I just want to take some emotion out of the tax conversation for a second when it comes to seniors or fixed incomes or affordability. The truth of the matter is your village taxes are probably $3,000 to $4,000 a year, is my guess, most people. If you've got a 50% break on your taxes, which people do cartwheels for and be on the national news, now you're down to $1,500 to $2,000. And I don't want to sound inconsiderate or whatever, but if someone's life depends on $1,500 a year or not, and where they can live somewhere, you probably have to focus more on why that's the case and how that became the case. Because most people, I guess the pattern of life is, you raise your family in those 30 years, you pay off your mortgage, and you're left with just your taxes to pay. So the fact that you lost your income or reduced income on pension, your expenses should be less because your mortgage should be paid off. That's the theory of the cycle of life and retirement and aging. So I don't like the idea of, I mean, I don't know what's considered a senior today, but you know, I'm 55, so I guess I'm there. And I don't want someone else moving into the village paying 3 times for the house that what I paid for my house 5 years ago, and they're paying double for their house of similar size and quality or whatever, and then say, you know what, since I've been here and I'm older now, I want you to pay more so I can pay less. That's like, I don't know how much more divisive the conversation could be than that. Secondly, about consolidation, here's what people just don't want to understand. If you saw the town meeting when they mentioned consolidation, one of the council people told the truth when they said, people naturally have to lose their jobs or we don't save money. Don't confuse consolidation with merging, okay? If there's consolidation, the village ceases to exist. That's the purpose and point of consolidation. So there's one government, which means one DPW, and they don't pick up garbage in the town. And there's one police department, which means our guys don't change patches and go back to work tomorrow. It means some of them are out in the street looking for a job. Because unless people lose their jobs, there is no savings. Our taxes will not go down, they will actually go up, and they will go up exponentially. And without getting too deep into it, I'm going to just basically say this. If you understand how your house, your property is assessed by the state, and then how it's equalized by your equalization rate locally, to determine what your taxes are going to be, what your assessment is going to be, which is taxed, the town has plenty of room to grow. Let's pretend the villages are gone and we're all consolidated. We're going to pay the same money we pay now, except it all goes to the town instead of going to the village. Secondly, the town creates an amusement park, the town gets a new hospital, the town builds a new housing complex, and the assessed value by the state every year, which is reevaluated by the state, will say, hey, the town of Montgomery just has an increase of 3% of its retail value of its property based on all these things that happened over the course of the last year. And guess what? We're now the town of Montgomery. And then our assessed value goes up. The biggest thing you can get punished by for your taxes is to have your assessment go up. Without your taxes going up an inch, I can give you a simple formula where your taxes can get cut 50%, but your assessment goes up and you're paying more. It's not rocket science. The town has room to grow. This place doesn't. This village is done. We're not getting a new hospital, an amusement park, a dinosaur park, and housing development, or anything that's going to increase the value of the municipality in the state's eyes, which means our assessments aren't going to go up. Become part of the town and watch how fast your assessments, our assessments go up, because now we're the town. So they put Dino Park or whatever they're trying to put out there, and Amazon, and warehouses, and housing complexes and developments, and a new hospital, or whatever they do, they're going to build. And a new sewer system, guess what? That increases the value and the assessment eyes of the state every single year. And when they say, oh, we're raising your assessed value by 3%, your taxes went up without these guys doing a thing. So if you think consolidation is going to save you money, you haven't done the math. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else?
All right, is there any reason to go further through this budget here? All right, it'll remain open till how long? How long do we want to go for?
So, I just got the calendar, I looked it up while you guys were talking. You cannot go past the 20th.
Since when did that change?
So it's been like, this is the standard calendar. What happened was last year, we went beyond, and that put us in a big risk for the controllership, which is red flag. However, we have our meeting the 21st, which I asked them. They said we can close the meeting now, leave it open for questions. We can extend the question time frame if you guys like. So this way you stick to the 21st when you vote. And then if there's any issues on the 21st, then you guys have a chance to get everything done before the 1st.
I have a question. Do we have to have another workshop to continue to take a list? Any changes that we want to make from here on out?
It's more internal.
To make changes to the budget, we don't have to do that in public?
That's a legal question.
Yeah, you could have a special meeting if you want to have another public hearing. You just can't go past, like Deb said, you can't go past April 20th. So you meet the 21st, so right now the recommendation would be just to have it open for written comment and then close it up on the 21st, because you're right, it's a big red flag if you don't close it in April.
I don't know if you guys recall, last year we passed that, and Will Frank raised it as a red flag, and controllership did as well. There was a lot of scrambling at the last minute. So,
So you would have to, it's an internal discussion at that point. And then you would have to address the budget at the 21st and look to adopt it at that point. But yeah, if you have questions, right, written comments, but internally you guys need to discuss what you're going to do.
I think by now, it should be the public asking us questions. We pretty much are okay with this. I mean, the budget's only gone up like a little over 5% here. But I think it should be the public. Let them talk, let them see, wait.
I
So
disagree.
you're gonna make a motion to extend the written comment till what day?
5 days, 10 days, I don't know. Make it 5 days, with 5 days.
5 days, yes.
Yeah, 5 days, we'll do it in 5 days.
So
Make a motion.
Just make it
No.
Is this even picking up the public?
Yes, it is.
It is.
So
I
make it,
think the discussion is, do we need a work session as a board first, and then are we going to close the public hearing, and
you're gonna have to close it before, right, in April. Yeah, that's, you have to close it. Before the 21st.
Well, Debbie, I'm correct, you're saying we can close it at the next meeting on the 21st.
It says the 20th, on the 20th.
Yeah, 20th is when you're supposed to.
So the 13th is a Monday, right, Debbie?
I'm sorry, I have.
Yes.
All right, so just make it till the 13th, by then everybody should be, know what questions they have.
I like that better. I was gonna say the weekend eats up, there's only 3 days left.
I agree with you.
Can we do next Thursday?
First, you need to close the public hearing and leave written comment open until a date certain by 12 noon, whatever the case may be. So that's what you need to do first.
All right, so make a
Point of
motion.
order, point of order. That's a great idea. My problem with that is I've never been responded on a written comment. They never answer written comments.
Right, but
We
it's-
never
it's-
get an answer.
Right, but it's not a Q&A, okay? It's a public hearing, you hear the public, ultimately the budget's your call. You hear the public, it's not, any public hearing, it's not a Q&A session. It's technically a public hearing, you hear the public, and then you make your own determination. So, again, what I was saying stands. Close the public hearing, schedule a written comment to be provided till whatever date you pick. And again, I give it till noon, not close the business, because Debbie, whoever's doing the intake, has got to organize it, put it together, so it's always a good idea to do it in the middle of the day.
If we're gonna have another work session, why can't we keep the public hearing open until that work session date?
Are you gonna schedule another public hearing on that? If you wanna do that, you can schedule another public hearing for a special meeting, that's another option for you. You can do that, but it would be, it would be before the 21st. You'd have to have another meeting, so you wouldn't close it today, you would basically adjourn this public hearing to a date certain, so you have to pick up a day when you guys would meet to have another public hearing.
So we're looking to do another work session then?
Well, the other thing
It's not a work
is,
session, it's a public, it's,
Another
for public hearing, we need to have all the information
Right.
by this coming Monday for the papers. Remember, there's also the paper publication. So you have that constraint.
you have to, if you're gonna do a public, if you're gonna continue to have another public hearing date, you're gonna have to set that, like, Debbie's gonna have to notify it, put it in the paper.
We could keep written comment open until noon on the 16th.
Correct.
And then have a meeting on the, work session on the 16th.
You can do that, right, work session, but it's open to the public, but it's a work session, the public can come and to watch, but
Charlie,
it's not a hearing.
what about keeping the written comment open until the day of, the noon time, the day of a work session, and then having a work session that day, so everybody can put in written comment or contact us to put comment in from between now till the work session, and then we have the work session.
We need a few days before that, so this way we can review the questions.
Correct.
If the work session's on the 16th, at least the 15th, if not the 14th. So we have
Well, it's all
time.
via email, I mean, I don't think anybody's snail mailing anything in, so, I mean, that's a quick response time for us to
I know
do
that
it.
distribution's gonna be an issue.
Not if it's coming to the clerk.
So if we leave the written open for 1 week on the 14th, and then we have a work session on the 16th, that'll give us 2 days to compile everything and put it together.
16th and
Thursday
Thursday, so
the
leave it open
16th.
1 week from today to Tuesday the 14th for the written, and then we can process that and have the work session on the 16th.
I can make the 16th after 1 o'clock.
But my question still stands in terms of you're gonna close the public hearing tonight then, okay? And just
Keep
leave written
written comment open.
Right, okay, that's fine.
So then we need a motion.
Yes, you do.
I'll I'll make a motion to close the public hearing with leaving written comment open until the 14th,
12 noon, give me your time.
12 noon on the 14th, midday.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Steve?
All right.
Randy?
Aye.
Aye. Darlene? Cynthia?
Aye.
Alright, so now we're looking, the 16th, can we do it the 16th? I can do 9 o'clock in the morning, I can do 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I can do after work.
I can't do it in the morning or
Thursday at
4
1,
PM or after.
I can't do it at 4 p.m. I guess.
But we work other jobs, so we can't get there without taking a day off, and I can't do that.
I work too. I also have a full-time job.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, but
So-
we can't keep on doing the 9 AM and 10 AM ones.
Well, nobody's saying that.
Well, they're telling you that they all have work and we can't be there at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, me too, so what, I'm giving you ideas, come back with something.
I thought somebody suggested 4.
I suggested 4 PM on the 16th.
All right, the 16th at 4 p.m. I'll move the schedule now.
I'm gonna have to
It's a work
put this
session.
on, I have to post it in the Times Herald versus the local Times, if you want to see it.
Yeah, as long as they're both authorized papers, so that's fine.
So just letting us-
Okay, where are we now? Make a motion to close the session?
We did.
All right. Okay. Please stand with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand for a moment of silence for Heather Connolly, Heather's child care. I'm sure we all remember that. I became kind of close with Joe and Heather years ago. Our parents were in a nursing home together, and we shared grief, we shared lunch, we shared laughter, we shared sadness. And we watched Heather go down the drain, go down the tube, whatever you want to call it. It was a sad situation, and you know, Joe called me about it. It wasn't in the obituary or anything like that, and it's a shame. But she raised a lot of families here. So God bless her. God bless Joe. Thank you.
Did we have a motion to open regular meeting?
What?
Did we make a motion to open regular meeting?
You already started.
Oh, gotcha.
You're good.
What I just said is that we have a young man here to make a presentation. It's 10 minutes to 9, I think we ought to go out of order and let him go.
Yep.
So he can go home.
Eric, come on up, please.
Thank you so much for letting me here tonight, especially early.
Eric, I'm sorry, can you talk a little closer to the mic, only because the Facebook post, pick it up, there you go, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here tonight, everyone. It's really an honor. So I'm a Valley Central student. I'm currently a junior going into my senior year. So this project has been a passion of mine ever since I acquired my new dog, Bo. So Bo joined our family a few months ago, and he's really, I love him. That's the easiest way to say it. He's the joy and pride of my life right now. I love taking him to the dog park, and it's an amazing time. few things that could be improved upon and that would greatly help the community because it's a great place. I've met a lot of people from going into the dog park. Met a lot of other dogs. Bo has an awesome time, and it's really a great place for people to connect in the community that otherwise, if it was improved, more people could possibly come and create a greater community improvement. So for this project, I'm currently doing it through a high school civil service seal program. So that's a program through the high school where you do a community service project and you gain recognition for that project on your diploma. So currently, I hope to have trees planted and gravel and add new planks and to the wood surface, which is run down. And all of this is by donation I've found. So the trees are coming from Manza Farm. I've gone there multiple times and I've requested donations and they have agreed to donate 3 trees, which will be awesome. And it's a great thing that we have trees donated there. Because during the summertime, it gets especially very hot because there's not a lot of shade in the park. And it is a big area and it is surrounded by trees, but those trees don't provide shade to the whole park. And it would be a great thing if the dogs wouldn't be so hot. And it would be a great thing for the dog caretakers and especially the owners that could be in the shade a lot more. The other thing is gravel, so at the entrance of the park, it's the gravel's been worn down over the years. I know there was some addition recently, but it's been worn down again, and I've also found a donator for that. So that we could just dump in, and that would be great. The other thing was the condition of the equipment, which over the years, of course, is going to get dirty from dogs running up and down it. And I would love to volunteer my time with safe chemicals, of course, and the water that's already in the park to clean everything and volunteer my time there. And everything I hope to do is through donations and just a little help digging the holes from the village of Montgomery. And this is all for the Paul Jr. design dog park. It's that way, it's next to the pickleball courts, which most people love. And it's a great socializing place in the community.
Eric, you come up here and you thanked us for listening to you. No, thank you. I had the pleasure of speaking to you and your mom on, you have the date right here, January 23rd, and it was a great conversation, and I'm proud of you. And so is your former bus driver. So whatever we can do, Jake will take care of it. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for hearing me tonight. Thank you, really an honor. Thank you. I really hope to continue with this project and really improve the community and help a lot more connections be made to the community through my service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do we have to make a motion for the donations that he's bringing in?
If you're accepting it, yes, you're gonna have to make a motion.
So at this point, if we don't have the details, should we make the motion now or another day when we have more?
When you have more detail, you make the motion, not now.
And so how do we request that Eric gets that information to us so we can make sure we're doing it?
Just have it directed to the village clerk, and then once we get the information, you can take action on that at the next meeting.
Okay. And this is like, there's a lot of information in the packet, yeah, but probably specifics and where they're from in here.
Okay.
I'll make sure we get a copy. And then if can we donate to his project? No, right? Can we donate our time? Oh.
You can donate your time, you can't donate funds.
Not personal funds?
Your own funds, that's.
Yes, that's what I'm asking, not village funds.
You're not village, your own, you can do what you want.
Okay, so if we can secure donations for the cleaning products and that kind of stuff.
That's not
Okay.
If you're accepting anything from the outside for funding, you have to make a motion to accept it. Donation.
Okay.
Yeah, add it.
So
Okay.
get any information to Debbie and make sure she has what she needs so we can approve it, okay?
All right, moving on to the annual reorganization appointments. I have no problem at all. The only thing I want to ask on the people being reappointed to their positions is, do they still want to do it? That's the thing. I mean, we just going ahead and appoint them. I want to know if they still want to do it.
table to
Oh.
ask questions.
I didn't get that. We didn't say that. Why would we table reappointing
We had
people to the
questions.
position?
We had questions like, do they want to accept it? We should have reached out to them before this meeting. And we had questions about the new titles.
You've already told me what you're gonna do on that end.
We had questions.
I understand that.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying that we asked to have that tabled for tonight.
I understand.
Just go person by person.
What are we doing here?
I'm asking if we can table it, if we have questions. You just asked another question in reference to it, did you not?
What are we doing here? Are we reappointing people here, or what are we doing?
Just go person by person.
No one has come from any of the boards, come forward to say they did not want their positions here.
Okay, that's what I wanna do. I don't wanna appoint somebody and find out that they didn't want it, and then we have to use it. All right. Are we reappointing everybody to the positions that they were in the past? I don't have the list here.
I have to do it line by line. We're doing it line by line. I do it line by line.
I don't have the
I don't
list.
have a list either.
Here you go. Yeah, I gave it to you. I just handed it to you.
Okay, the ones that you reappointed would be the ones in the red, correct? All right, Deputy Village Clerk, Bree Murphy. April, she expires, 1-year term. She expires April 6, 2027. Deputy Treasurer, Francine Palmieri, April 6, 2027. Clerk, per diem, Ronnie Rickard, April 6, 2027.
Excuse me, Mike. Don't we have to vote on each one individually?
You could do it all at once, or you could do it separately. I mean, a lot of places go all through, they just do the appointment, or you just say, here's a list of the appointments, you do it on a consent agenda, just have everyone approve.
Just making sure we're doing it.
DPW, well, I don't believe in this office if we want it, but thank you. DPW/PD Clerk Stephanie Cochran, April 6, 2027. Associate Justice Erin Crowley, April 6, 2027. Clerk of Village Justice Valerie Swanky, April 6, 2027. Court Assistants Amanda Kearney, April 6, 2027. Deputy Court Clerk part-time Sarah Sullivan, April 6, 2027. Planning Board Member Robert Reynolds Sr., April 8, 2031. Member Chairman Larry Humes, April 3rd, 2029. Historic Review Board, that's open, we'll discuss that later. Member Robert L. Williams, April 3rd, 2029. Attorney for the Board of Trustees, AHRB, Ethics, Reno, April 6, 2027. Attorney for the Planning Board and Conflicts, Joe McKay, April 6, 2027. Village Attorney for the ZBA is open. Lino, you couldn't handle that, right?
Correct, that's okay.
Okay. And the Engineer Lance and Tully, April 6, 2027. Any problems with any of them being reappointed?
Yeah, Board of Ethics, right? Did we read Board of Ethics? I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah? Might be on the back. Maybe double-sided? Yeah, it's on the back of that one. Let me put judges together.
For the Zoning Board of Appeals, Member Tom Harris. Member Chair for the Board of Ethics, Member Chairwoman Jean Muller. Building Inspector, April 6, 2027, Bruce Shankowitz. Craig Fury, Historian, April 6, 2027. I do not get involved with the Recreation Department, so
So we just have them, you want to just do those, let's do those individuals that you just named first, get a motion on those. So have someone make that motion.
For everyone mentioned so far.
So far, correct.
I'll make the motion to reappoint everyone mentioned so far.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
Stephen?
Aye.
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 Keep going, keep going.
So we have Recreation Department, Thomas Taylor, Camp Director, Jennifer Jackson. Now, we haven't decided that we only have to appoint those two, and then it's up to them to appoint.
Correct.
Or
Whomever they
want.
whoever else they want. Okay, so we have those two. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, everybody's in.
Are we keeping a vacancy on the AHRB, or are we appointing someone?
Well, I had put on here to appoint Robert Sullivan. There were 3 people that submitted. Walter, he's on the water board.
Yeah, I can address that too. So normally, under state law, under village state law, when it comes to filling vacancies on boards, that when a vacancy becomes apparent, the mayor gets to appoint without board approval. And that's pretty much standard for most positions in a village. However, you have a local law in your books, again, which, when I look at your code, under chapter 6 of the AHRB, again, this law was adopted back in the 70s, amended in 86, also 2011, also amended in 2023. But this provision with respect to the AHRB provides that the vacancies, I'm reading from section 6-2, board created membership terms of our code. It says that vacancies shall be filled by the Board of Trustees for the unexpired term of any member whose place has become vacant. So again, it's contradictory to what village law, I mean, again, it's a local law, so it's assuming it's invalid, you have home rule to change that, but it's one of those appointments that you would make mayor, it's made by Board of Trustees.
Well,
Again, it's because it's a local, it's in your code.
I appreciate it. In the past, I have done that. I have appointed people in mid-term. And my intentions were to appoint Robert Sullivan today, that there were 3 people that put in for it. One's already on a board, and the 2 others weren't. So I was going to appoint him because I believe everybody should have a shot. We'll go from there. I put Robert Sullivan up for a vote.
Who are the 3 candidates?
Jordan.
What's Jordan's name?
We put Jordan on.
So Jordan's already put on.
Yeah, okay, so
So I make a motion to appoint Walter Hookey to the vacancy on the Architectural Historic Review Board, and if there's a conflict of interest that the board attorney says he cannot be on the Water Sewer Committee and the AHRB, he can choose which one he'd like to be on, and go from there.
Yeah, I'm not aware of your code that prohibits him from serving in both those capacities. There are situations where you can serve with 2 boards, but again, barring, I don't see anything in code that prohibits that, so, because again, the water wouldn't affect the AHRB.
my appointment with Robert Sullivan would have been, he's been in the hospitality business for 21 years. He has a business in probably one of the most historic places in the United States, the federal government area. He has his own private businesses. He has donated to the Scouts. He has volunteered his drone to DPW and the police department, and he's a village resident.
Do we need a second for the motion?
I'm still talking, thank you.
We're gonna have discussion.
So this is second.
Time out. There was a motion, finish what you're saying, but then, again, there was a motion that was pending, so finish what you're saying there.
Okay, so that's it, and I'm sorry if I.
No, it's fine.
Thank you.
No problem. So, I believe Trustee Picarello made a motion, correct?
Need a second.
Okay, so you need a second?
I'll second it.
We need to discuss.
Yeah, you want to have a discussion?
My discussion is finished, so we'll take a poll. Stephen?
Walter Hookey has grown up in the historic Orange County area in Goshen, Warwick area, and Montgomery. He also serves on the Historic Preservation Commission for the town, has run businesses in multiple historic buildings within our business district, and also lives in a historic home within that district. I don't think there's much more of a qualification, and he's applied twice for the position, so I feel comfortable that he, if he's willing to take the position, it would be a great addition to that. I think he would be great in working with the other newly appointed member, Jordan Marasco, to get up to speed on the regulations and the new guidelines that we approved about a year and a half ago, so I think it's a great addition.
I'm not arguing with you, I'm just, well, he's on one board already. Why can't somebody else get a shot at it? I'm sure if the other way around, he would use that argument back towards me.
You know me very well. Are we voting roll
call? Go ahead. Stephen?
Aye.
Aye.
Randy? No?
Aye.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that.
Well, vote, he's on the HRB.
Should you choose to accept?
I do, and if I need to resign from the other board, I could do that. I'm happy to serve on both. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, to that point, I'll double check the code, just make sure there's no issues. Again, I don't believe there would be, but I'll double check if that's the case. I'll let you know, then you have to make that decision.
And once you make that decision, then you can come in and get sworn.
You have 30 days to get sworn in.
Not a minute more. Need a little evidence that it's a very serious meeting over there. Oh, Darlene, I want you to roll this out. I would love Darlene to roll this one out. The next item. Because it's exciting.
Yeah.
What's exciting?
The dates or the time?
The time.
Time.
Get a little excited.
I'll be the first one to make a motion. We change our meeting time to 6:30 instead of 7:30.
All right, we have here for a vote to change the meetings from 6:30 to 7:30.
6:30 to 6:30.
Make a motion?
I did.
Second?
I'll second that.
Stephen?
Aye.
Randy?
Changing the meeting.
I'm good.
6:30 to 7:30.
6:30.
7:30.
I'm out. Stop. You're going from 7:30 to 6:30, so the motion would be to change the start date of the meeting to 6:30. Correct. From 7:30, so it's 6:30. Let's make that motion again.
Can I also stop for one more thing?
Sure.
It's for all boards except the planning board. Planning cannot make that change, they have to stay at 7.
Fine, so for every board, the new time, with the exception of the planning board, the motion is to change the meeting date, the start time to 6:30. That's the motion. Does someone make that?
I will.
Okay,
I will
second.
second it.
Aye.
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 Remember an aye.
Was that a unanimous vote? Can't we just get?
A motion to approve abstract number 20264A, $91,876.93. Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I have a question that I have made before. I don't see it in the abstract. I don't know if maybe it's combined under something else. Can you just peek at it?
I've not seen the abstract at all.
All right, we'll vote, we'll in tomorrow and see it.
Well, do you want to vote and then they come in tomorrow with one more checks like yours?
I only have a question about one, so I can approve it, except for the one that I want to take another look at. Yes. Yeah.
You could exclude one and have that one for the next meeting.
Okay.
You just have to identify which one that is, so that the motion's made and it's reflected in the minutes.
Right, and then I'll come in tomorrow and review it and sign it, I will sign it tonight.
Wait, are you approving to have it paid or?
Yeah, we can't do a check.
Right, right, so you gotta do it all, that's what, if not, then that matter has the check won't run until the next meeting.
I don't see it reflected in the one I have a question about. I don't see get reflected into the 2 times that I've looked through it this whole thing, because I have a few POs. That's my question.
Now, we can't hear when you're having your
Sorry.
little conversations here.
It's not a little conversation, I apologize, I'll speak directly into the mic for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
I don't see, in the 2 times that I have reviewed this abstract since I sat down, doesn't mean that it's not in here, the invoice that I questioned when I reviewed all the POs in the office, so I can't call it out at this time.
I just checked, it's in the next abstract.
I can call it out.
Then
know
I
what it
approve.
is. I can call it out.
It's good, then I'm an aye.
I can call it out. Because you sent me an email and it was about me getting the car wash, the village car wash. The comment was made, I should use my $20,000, the money from my $20,000 salary here and pay for it to wash the village car myself.
Yeah, sure.
That's what it was.
That's fine.
A village vehicle I should wash with my own money. That's the question here. Should I gas it up also and get
Yes,
the oil change?
you should.
All myself.
Yes.
You really think that makes sense?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I wouldn't say
Pay for your
that.
own training.
I do.
Yeah, okay.
That's really smart.
Are you calling me stupid?
Did I call you
For the
stupid?
record, you said it's not smart.
Well, I didn't say that. I
I got an
didn't say
idea, how
that.
about we vote on the abstract?
Thank you. I already voted, so let's leave it.
How about that?
No, I just wanted to know, I just want to know how petty
No, wait,
this is.
wait, guys, you didn't vote yet, so, we voted the entire abstract?
Yes.
Without exception?
Yes.
All right, so someone make a motion for the
Already
abstract?
did.
Who made it?
Already made it.
I seconded it, I
Okay,
already
roll-
voted
let's
aye,
do Roll call.
Randy voted aye, and we're adopting it.
Thank you.
We already did, okay.
Let's go back to
Wait,
the
did
car
someone
wash.
finish the motion? All right, I need a motion completed. A motion, a second, I need a roll call.
Okay, Stephen, Randy, me, aye.
Thank you.
Going back to the car wash here, several times I went to the car wash and paid for it out of my own pocket because it didn't recognize the village plate. I think I get the car wash once a month. I have to jumpstart it probably every week. It's the oldest car in the fleet. I drive it around during the snowstorms, I ride around the streets at 2, 3 in the morning, I welcome people into the neighborhood with it. The thing is, it's on its last legs, so I take it to the car wash. So this is nothing but harassment.
Oh,
This is exactly what it is, that I should pay to get the village car wash out of my money, out of my pocket. Does anybody else have to do that? This is discrimination. This is what it is, okay? It's discrimination against an employee here in the village, and it's silly. That's what it is, okay? I should pull up and welcome new people into the neighborhood with a messy car. That's where we're going here, huh? Well, you know what? You 3 vote the same way, then I guess I'll lose privilege to get the car washed once a month. Because there's 3 votes up here. There's 1, 2, and you 3 vote together. All these together. So that's the way the village runs here. You don't have a powerful mayor. You have a bully system. So let's move on. Old business good grants. Anything on grants?
I met with the grant, the town grant writer, and gave her everything that we have talked about or worked on for the last 3 years since I've been on the board, everything that I had collected to make sure that she could utilize that for the narratives that have to be written for future grants. The March grant letter that came out, we have, the opportunities have been sent to everyone. Are you getting them directly, Chief? Sorry, I'm addressing the chief.
Yeah, the ones that you sent out, yes. It's like email ones or something?
These ones from the town, from Anna Frooms at the town. Are you getting them directly or no?
What do you mean direct? Like,
In your email, are you getting them directly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
emailing
okay.
you.
Yes.
She's emailing you directly, or am I forwarding them to you?
I get some from you. I communicate with her. So
Okay.
There's a lot of grants coming and going.
Okay. Okay. So we have the Records Fund, the Connect All Program grants, Open Space Grant, the T-Mobile grant, Farm to School grant, New York Plays, the Gary Sinise grant, the Smart Growth Community Planning grant, the Regenerate New York 2026 grant, Municipal Waste and Recycling grants, Hart Family Fund for small towns. So we had a lengthy discussion about a week and a half ago, and looked at which ones we had a good chance for, which grants we had enough time to submit for, and then what things we had missed more recently since we have been trying to be more cohesive on it. So it turns out that there's a lot of siloing of information, which is not unique to this village, and it's not necessarily intentional. So anything that I had, I gave to her. So that should give us a couple steps forward in some of the places where we were missing or she was waiting on information for narratives or justifications to apply for grants. So hopefully we will have something to report in a positive direction with the open space grant and a couple of other grants.
I'd like to address the open space grant. We decided not to try to do a half, let job and jam it in by the 20th. It's gonna come back again in 6 months. So we're gonna go for the next cycle and give us more time to prepare a proper presentation and get some more numbers down.
For New York Forward, we've signed a contract for parks, streetscapes, and small business. Like I said earlier, it's in the hands of New York State. Once they sign things over, we'll start doing the resourcing for a committee, as well as the criteria that they'll give us, and we'll start sharing that. That takes a few weeks, they said. About a year and a half ago, they told us it would take anywhere from 6 to 8 months. We're hoping that that'll be reduced significantly. So one of the things that I have a call on Thursday with Susan, and then from there she'll let me know when is it that she'll come to the village. One of our meetings, we've invited her. She says when it's a little bit more in depth, she's gonna come. She spoke to all the trustees as well. She'll bring them up to speed on the contract process, and hopefully we'll hear from her soon. Just wanna give that update.
Okay, next up, consider approving the suggested improvements to the dog park. We already did that. Approve the standard workday for Tina Fastenack, Justice of the Court.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Stephen? Randy? Me? Darlene? Cynthia?
Hi. And this is the same approval that we did for the New York State retirement system, which has to be done for all employees. It's not specific to the court or that employee. It has to be done as a formality. And I have a question for you at the end. Thank you.
Next, consider approving the Stop DWI program.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Briefly, 2 sentences?
It doesn't change year to year. It's just basically you guys are approving a contract with the county that allows them to give us money to run DWI patrols.
That's a no-brainer. I'll make that. I'll make that one. I'll make you take the money.
I'll second it.
Second. Me, Darlene, Cynthia, approved.
Aye.
Consider approving the May trainee for trustee Picarella, Milton, and trustee Imbrani for the total cost of $900.
Wait a minute, $586.78 is added on for the hotel, so that's $1,486.78.
For training in Lake George, hotel accommodations are being covered by the trustees.
I handed you that, right? Mine. It was right here.
I make a motion for discussion here.
Hold on. We're saying you skipped 137.
All right, so we'll go back to it then. We're already on this.
Did we vote on
You
it?
didn't vote on E, I don't see.
We vote on the PD contract?
No, you skipped over D, you're on E, so let's finish E while you're at
Let's
it.
finish it. The hotel.
Which one are we on?
E.
You just did, you read E, and I gave you the update, and said the total is $1,486.78, so we're gonna approve that.
Need a
Make a
motion.
motion to approve it.
And make a motion to approve it. You made a motion?
No one motion, no.
I just did. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Need a second?
Second.
Mike,
Second for discussion. Can I get my discussion now?
For this.
For the May training.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was trying to do. All right, May training, this is $1,400 to go to Lake George, okay? We have fire hydrants that still aren't fixed. We have a lot of stuff around here, okay? My training is I go to different municipalities and I ask them how they run things, how they do things. That's what I do. And then they take the money that I was allotted $10,000 and they knocked it down to $3,000. There's a lot of this training that you can do online. To go up to Lake George, Lake Placid, there's a lot of municipalities that can't afford to do this. I'm against this. I'm against this kind of training, man. You know, we have professionals here. We have an attorney. We have all different people that we can reach out to. What are we going to learn? These are temporary jobs. These are elected officials. So you learn something. What are you going to, you know, you're going to make decisions on retirement and stuff. What do you do here? You gain knowledge. You gain knowledge. But you ask experts before you do anything. We have experts here.
This
We're
is a
elected
room
officials.
full of experts that are training you on what you do
I'm
properly.
speaking,
so we
Steve.
don't have
All
to
right, I don't
undo it.
interrupt anybody else. You have,
It's not our fault that it's in Lake George. That's where they're having the training for New York State. Everybody's coming from around New York State.
not everybody's
To go
coming.
to that
Not
location.
everybody's coming.
Everyone
Please
that's going
don't.
to the training is
Oh,
from New York
I'm still
State.
talking, thank you. Not everybody goes through these things. Many municipalities,
You know, how many hours of
no.
training did you give us at your hourly rate?
Thank you.
all right? And what about having fire hydrants working? What about having stuff, tell that to the person who's the hydrant in front of their house, that you went up to Lake George or Lake Placid and the fire hydrant wasn't working.
Apples and oranges.
It's not apples and oranges, okay? It's not apples and
It
oranges.
is, and we're not putting the bill totally on the village. I'm covering my hotel. I
It
cover
doesn't
my
make a
license
difference
in
if
New York
you
State.
are or you're not.
Yes,
It actually
does.
does
We
make
are
a
trying to
difference.
save
And
the
also,
village information
again,
here.
you
We
sat
don't
on
get
this board for 14 years and never once uttered the word fire hydrant.
Because if
Never
we
once.
didn't know about
This
it.
training budget is already
You on
in the
the
budget.
I'm not gonna
It's
argue with
already
you. I
in
am
the
not arguing with
budget.
you.
And I'm paying for my hotels. And guess what? I'd rather go somewhere else than Lake George with my
Good
money.
for you. Now, I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm
No, you're just
speaking,
gonna
I'm
make blanket,
talking.
incorrect, and ignorant statements
Does
that are
training teach you
ill-informed
how to
and
sit on a
inappropriate every time.
You have 3 fire hydrants that are not
Then fix
fixed.
them.
With
Figure out
your
where
training money.
that it's coming from and fix them. You can
Fix
do
them with
that.
the training money. I gave money to the senior center, I gave money to fix up there at the museum.
That's
where
not what
I'm,
mayor contractuals are for.
well, what,
When you learn
When
about budget
are-
lines, we can talk again.
you have professionals you can go to. You don't have to go ahead and enjoy. I went to one of these
For
things.
$300, that's a bargain.
Yeah, and what about the one in February? There's a lot of them you're going to here. Until you have tires and brakes and everything, I'm talking. Until you have things under control here, you don't go run out and buy the big screen TV. You have a fiscal responsibility here. Fire hydrants,
So we're
okay?
counting reams of paper, you said on the record, but you can afford a car wash, an unlimited car wash, that's not frivolous at all.
Unlimited car wash?
I can't go to training to learn how to do things better, because we're in an emergency, but yet you sit here and you
Then I
don't.
guess
report
I
on
just
it. You wanna enter into the discussion, let's have the discussion.
The discussion is until we have 3 fire hydrants here fixed and other things done, I'm not going to training. My money goes to other things. I could go
So
to
we can
training
look
if
for
I
a
want to.
proposal on how you're gonna fix the fire hydrants at the next meeting, let's add it to the agenda.
And the thousands
They
of
should have
dollars
been, they
we
should
spent
have
with
fixed
lawyers
months ago.
fixing the things that we did wrong because we didn't know.
This
proper
is
protocols.
embarrassing. This is utterly embarrassing. Yes, it is. This is embarrassing. What's tiny?
No.
I'm talking to the entire board. This is embarrassing.
We're all gonna take credit for the toxicity that's coming from the leadership down because we refuse to communicate.
Randy, just stop, move on, okay?
It's
Just
me, I have a
stop.
problem.
You got it.
All right.
All right, let's move
You
on.
need to go to a
I
class
vote
to
against.
learn how to run a meeting, that's what you need. Go to
Yeah.
class to learn how to run a meeting.
I'm voting against training.
Okay, so you're against it, there's gotta be a vote, so.
Take a vote.
Okay, the mayor's
All right.
point, let's get the rest of the votes, move on.
Let's go.
Oh, you're ready.
Randy? I'm against.
Aye.
No. Okay. Consider approving the MOA for the PD contract. The board has voted to table it. I have not.
You didn't vote.
All right, well, make a motion, make a motion.
Make motion to table the MOA for
Second.
I'll say.
Stephen.
Aye.
Randy. No.
Aye.
It's tabled. Consider adopting a local law giving the tax exemption for the surviving spouse of law enforcement officers that were killed in the line of duty.
Yeah, can I just comment on this one? So, yeah.
That's being tabled, sir?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you what, the state hasn't adopted that yet. It says you're not a tax unit, you can't really adopt that, so the state's gotta come down with that first before we can do it. We did effectively think the state would maybe do it, but we haven't yet. It's still back in terms of defining that, so.
Well, I would like them to come down to add the fire department to
Yeah,
the
but
fund.
again, because you're not a taxing unit, you have to wait for the state to act on this one, so, because you're not a taxing unit, so you can't pass exemptions. You have the town to do it, to the state, you have to wait for your state to speak first on that, so that's why we're tabling that. Again, we draft a local law, but until the state comes down and says that you can do it, you can't enact a local law.
All right, thank you.
No, you're right.
What do you have to say?
It's from the state, what was sent in.
Right, but they haven't adopted yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
So she approved it, but it wasn't adopted?
No, it hasn't been adopted, it's signed for yet.
And we also, I mean, there's like 3 laws that we have to look at with that, so it's not,
Yeah, very good.
yeah.
Consider approval of the Fall Fest in conjunction with the PBA Touch a Truck, Tracy Casey and Chris Goldenback. Make a motion. Second.
No second for discussion. No, Bob, she's over here, right?
Oh, I do. We had spoken with the, that's part of the event. We saw, I'm sorry, we saw the, received the event.
You know, so I was tasked, so I guess, way things what we've done in the past, speaking of things.
Yeah, you're right.
Can you guys hear me? Mic's on. Thank you. Yeah, so speaking of how things have done in the past, I was asked to look at how events are scheduled, what agreements should be in place. So again, using my experience in other municipalities, other villages and towns, we're trying to come up with an agreement to say, okay, if you're gonna rent a village hall, rent a village property or a senior center, here's the contract, here's the agreement, here's what's required with respect to insurance, here's the fee you pay, and it's universal throughout. It makes it easy. Again, I do this with other municipalities. It's a pretty form that there's a policy behind it. There's, if you're doing alcohol versus non-alcohol, what the insurance is. So we're trying to come up with, again, a document that takes care of all that into one document so that you come in, whether you're not-for-profit, corporate, doesn't matter. If you're renting space in the village, whether it's our senior center or village hall, whatever the case may be, we have one form and a fee that takes care of it. So we're working on, I know my partner has been working on this. I know we sent it to Debbie, but there were some changes as to the insurance requirements, which we incorporated. So again, that's still worked on, but we did provide it to Debbie. I'll circulate it to all of you for discussion, and you can comment on whatever changes you want to make. But I think we're about there in terms of the form. So if you have any changes, get it back to me, and then we'll finalize it, and then we can use that going forward for all events.
Can I ask, I don't remember off the top of my head, this is October event? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
Yes,
October, right? We have this sheet, but I just don't have it with me. I didn't print it. Yes?
It's October, this agreement hopefully will be finalized by the next meeting.
Okay. So can we add it to the next agenda?
So I have a question, for you. This is an outdoor event, so it's not,
Yeah, are you using village park?
but there's no fee, so.
So that's what we're looking at, because again, where I do this, there's fees for, if you're using village property for an event, there's always some fee, because that fee will cover either DPW to clean up or staff. There's always a fee. I mean, very rarely do I see village property.
DPW don't work.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Away from DPW.
That's correct.
Yeah, so, but my point is that there's a fee that's charged, again, those fees range depending where you
So
are in
if
the
somebody
state.
was renting the park for a birthday or a wedding, you would charge them a fee? I just wanna make sure.
When I got married, I had to rent a place in Hastings to park, I had to pay a
This
village
is
of
not
Hastings
Hastings,
for it.
but I'm just
But I'm saying I had to
asking,
pay a fee.
how does that work
So,
across
I-
the
I have-
board? I wanna make sure it's working across the board.
There-
There's an event happening here this month that's serving liquor. Is it being held across the board? Like,
So the
I wanna
liquor,
make sure that's-
right, but I'm asking, the liquor is also different too, because if you're serving liquor, there's certain insurance requirements. So like, for example, in another village I represent, when there's liquor involved, the policy limits that you have to obtain if you're gonna use village property is you have to provide a certificate of insurance, and the village has an insured, additional insured for an event that has liquor, and those are different policy numbers. But what I'm saying is, in where I do this, every piece of property that you come in to use, there's a fee. It's a nominal fee. Some places it's $250, some places $300, I've seen
$400 to
$500.
rent this is not a nominal fee for a
Yeah,
non-for-profit.
but I'm just saying, that's,
Just saying.
I've yet to see
If I may,
I've yet to see a municipality that doesn't charge a fee. At least the dozens that I represented and still represent, they all charge a fee for the use of village property, whether it's a senior center, a theater, or a park. Again, when I got married, I had to pay the village of Hastings $200 to use their park so we can get married.
my question is,
Just a mic, please. Mic.
My question is that this event is for October, so I would like to address two things, but I wanna know if we're going to table it, that it's going to be addressed at the next meeting. I wanna make sure we address it and we put it to bed, because this is also a PBA event, it's a well-attended event. It's an event for children that they enjoy, so I wanna make sure that we address it immediately. So if we're going to table it, I wanna make sure that we address the two pieces of the question, and that it's going to be taken
We have a form
care
filled
of.
out for the other day after the fall festival, it's just not the right one because it's taken so long.
Because
to
we've
get the
waited
right
since
one.
2024,
That's
and we are in
correct. They can- As soon as we get the
2026.
right one, they can transfer the information on to
So
the right
what's the
one.
best way to handle it?
So the best way, again, right, Debbie we gave her the form, what I would do, Debbie, circulate that to the mayor and entire board, that's the next step. And then you all provide me, if you have any comments or changes to that form, let me know, let Ruben know, my partner, we'll mark it up, get it finalized to you, then submit it, and then, again, it's there, we took your comment.
And in the meantime,
Hold on, please.
could we hold a date in the meantime?
The date for,
The date that they're proposing, it's
Yeah,
already
you can
filled
hold it,
out on a
sure.
sheet. We
There's
can
nothing wrong with
hold the
that.
date and address it all together at the next meeting with hopefully an approved form.
you
And be
can
done
hold
with
the
this
date,
conversation.
it's just the format that you're using,
Filled out for
you
this
can hold the
event.
date.
Right.
May I ask you how long it took you to get approved from Maybrook?
An hour.
15 minutes.
Not even. Within the hour.
Within-
How much did it cost?
$25.
But here's the point. We just want the event to get approved. I mean, it takes a long time, and we're working with the PDA. We have to get the trucks, we have to get, the vendors, stuff like that.
If you just want the date approved,
Well,
the date,
we
that's.
want the event approved, and we will fill out your other paper when it comes time. Same with the food truck festival. You guys approved that.
You asked for our own insurance binder, we gave it to
We
you last
gave
year.
you
You asked for
insurance.
liquor licenses from the vendors, we gave that to you
We did
last year. We
everything.
contacted the Department of Health, we did that last year. We were underneath the 5,000 people that they stated at one given time. We did that last year. Everything the board did, and Randy, to your knowledge, every event we do in this village is for the families and the kids, not just because it's a PBA event. Every event we do in this village. Because you just said, can we rush this because it's a PBA event for the
that's
kids?
what's in front of me
Every
right now.
event we do is for the village.
I don't know why you still do it.
No one's questioning.
Why? Because this is my village. I've lived here 17 fucking years. That's why I do it. Bullshit. Bullshit. 2024 we presented. 2024.
Right, and
I
I have here,
apologize.
so, just for the record, just so I can speak to it.
That's a joke, right?
There's no,
I have been doing this for this village for 2 years, so this is one of the first tasks that I've been charged to do is come up with a universal form for all events. And again, just because something is in the village, listen, there are things that happen in villages across the state. They're not necessarily sanctioned by the village. If you have your own event that the village pays for, you guys, that's one thing. But to have, just because something happens in your building doesn't make it a Village of Montgomery sanctioned event. Legally, those are two different things in my eyes, right? Yes, they may benefit the village because you're having an event here. That's all well and good. No one's disputing that. I'm talking about from a liability, looking at this from an insurance standpoint. If it's an outside event, and this is an outside event, it's not the Village of Montgomery sponsoring this as a municipal body. This is outside, whether it's not-for-profit, for-profit, for me, it doesn't matter. It just, what matters to me is, as long as the village is covered from a liability standpoint, the place is reserved, there's a fee that's paid, that's it. That's all I care about. And again, I was tasked to do this as one of the first things that I've been charged to do. Again, I haven't been in it that long, so we're trying to change things as we go along. So I understand it's tough sometimes.
Frustrating.
I get it, and I understand. I'm just saying, you know, I'm trying to right a ship maybe, and I'm trying to do my best to do that.
I understand, but understand our views. We started this last year, and it's 2024.
And I wasn't here, and I think, and give me credit, we got a form already, so I'm way ahead of the curve.
I appreciate it, but it is just frustrating that these events, we want to happen at the same time every year, and here we are the second year, and again, nothing is done. That is frustrating. Like I said, I've done over 3,000 events.
I would say nothing is done, because again, I'm doing something about it.
Well, nothing I've seen, I should rephrase that. I do understand there was an approval of some form, now I heard it's being changed.
And by the way, it's
but
beneficial to
frustrating.
you, and it's beneficial to the village, because again, because if someone slips and falls, or something does something, guess what?
I'm not disputing that.
I know,
I'm not
but
disputing
I
that.
want to see something uniform that was never done before.
Well, I
So
appreciate that.
That's what I'm trying to do, and again, it's not difficult, I'm just trying to get the format so that we get everything in terms of what insurance.
Can you tell me what the fee would be on the application? Because I know that was somewhat settled.
That's something I discussed with the board, but whatever the board wants, that's what the fee is gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a business decision, not legal. I can tell you what.
Does anybody want to share what the rate is?
I haven't seen the form yet.
Like I said, Lauren, I just gave it to Debbie this evening, okay, so she'll circulate it, and she'll see what my comments are, and then once they go through it, they can say, Lena, we recommend a fee of X or whatever. And then if they're all in agreement, that's what the fee will be.
In the meantime, the date is reserved. Yes?
That you can do, reserve the date, subject to receipt of the form and the execution.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded?
What is the date? I'm sorry. I just want to pull it.
October 24th?
Right, and 25th is the trunk or treat, it's a whole weekend.
So you want to, so there's two events, right?
October 24th, 25th.
It's a village, it's become a village event.
There's nothing village sponsored here, but Memorial Day, they pay for nothing, because it's not in the budget.
So let's go back to the motion, the dates, are we reserving dates? What are the dates?
The 24th and the 25th of October.
Okay, so
Make a
that-
motion to reserve October 24th and 25th for the touch truck.
And what's the second one? Trunk or treat. Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat.
Let's get them
Well,
both.
it says touch a truck here,
Well, actually,
so.
it should just be the Fall Fest, because the PBA does their own thing, we just work in conjunction with them. They don't have to get events approved like we do. You know what I'm saying? It's a PBA touch a truck.
You still can get, you still have to reserve.
Yeah, they're still gonna have, they're gonna have to go through it.
That's all
So.
we're doing is reserving October 24th. I'll make that motion to make sure we reserve October 24th.
Steve made it. I
I'll
made it.
second it.
You know your roll call, just all in favor?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. We did discuss village offense forms and requirements.
I'm at a loss for words, I have nothing else to say.
Discuss information, the start of the caboose renovations and fundraising for the caboose. Tracy?
I'll speak on her behalf. Tracy, Lino, at the last meeting, you stated that there were issues with. I'm not loud enough. I'll speak on Tracy's behalf. Lino, last time you said there was an issue with the caboose you had to look into, that she could not do anything, so she just wants to know your status on that.
Is the village not fundraising for that, correct? No
Yeah, we're not
fundraising.
allowed to fundraise. That was the
So
point.
where the funds coming from, it's coming from the organization,
That's correct.
and I have no issues with that.
So no issues, they can continue what they're doing.
Right, but again, if they want to donate the funds to the village, that's one thing, but as long as the village is not spending funds for that, that's,
Nope.
they can't do.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
So Lino, can you clarify, can DPW do work on it for them? I didn't think so.
But it's a village asset.
Owned by the village.
It's
It
owned
was owned by the village?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a village asset.
So
you
they
can-
can-
Yeah, a little history on this.
Yeah, as long as it's a village asset.
Yeah,
I was just clarifying for the record.
A little history on this, about 12, 13 years ago. yeah, about 12, 13 years ago, my wife was the elf on the Joyce and Dodge train. Asked the railroad, if you ever have a caboose, we'd like it in the village. Well, they called her up about a year and a half ago and said, we have one. We came in front of the board, we voted on it. It cost $20,000 to take the caboose from the lumberyard to down here to transport it. We got it for nothing. They did it for nothing.
But it's yours.
Yeah, it is. It was brought in from Port Jervis to the village.
The
Everything.
village maintains it?
Cost $1. It was all done nice. It was all done in the spirit of the village of Montgomery. And now it's being ripped apart. And it's not good. And now it's being something that we were hoping was going to be nice, a welcome to the village. We were going to put it over by Brush Away, but we couldn't because there was a gas line over there. So we put it down here, all in the spirit of the village of Montgomery. And this is where we wind up.
You know, when they do the fundraising, we just have to make sure we accept the fundraising.
Correct.
The
The
most-
village can't fundraise, but you can accept it. If the village wants to donate to the village.
Well, I won't donate it to the village. No, it goes right to renovations
Renovations,
of the caboose.
which is owned by the village, so
Which
you
is
have
owned by
to.
us, so you can't do anything to a village thing without board approval.
Right.
Well, so we can't do renovations unless the board approves it.
The funding is not coming from the
The funding is not coming from the board or the village. I am doing all the fundraising.
Right, but it's.
And
it's
all volunteers are doing the renovations. The money that I raise from fundraising is what we use to restore it. Windows. We raise money, we're doing windows. So you're saying I can't do windows unless you tell me?
What I'm saying is, if the mayor's telling me it's a village asset and the village owns it, what you can do, because again, going back to liability, I can't have you work on something that's village owned, and something happens to you, you're not.
We found out from the insurance
The
company.
insurance man said they're covered.
They're covered?
As long as they don't want to group.
Yeah, I gotta confirm that, but if that's the case, but, and then, my point is, if you're raising funds or their monies, those can be donated to the village, okay, to basically take care of the caboose or make improvements to it, but it's their asset.
Right.
Well, it's in a, you can do it, you can donate for them to do, get people to donate.
But you can donate your
They have
time,
to,
that's
okay.
fine, I didn't know.
Don't transfer it.
Right.
Freaking on.
There was 2 other municipalities willing to pay $5,000 for this thing, and they give it to us because of Sue. And this is another example of no good deed goes unpunished. If I knew this was going to turn into that, I would just let it there. This is volunteers, all volunteers doing this stuff, and this is what we face here. You didn't do this, you didn't put a T here, you didn't do that. This is all harassment. That's all it is. I don't like you, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. It's silly. It's silly. There's boards, there's municipalities who wish they had our problems.
So, you know,
Let's
Tracy has to
move
get
on.
approval, I just want to understand this, so if she's working on it, she has to present it to the board, what's going to be donated, and get their approval that it can be done, not that the board actually has to.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, trustee updates. Department updates.
A couple weeks ago, Orange County sent out a guy to check the paint on the caboose, since we're talking about caboose, that's what I'm gonna lead off with. 3 days lead-free. No lead inside or out. So, that's a plus. As most of you probably know, we started flushing hydrants yesterday, so you're gonna have brown discolored water. Should clear up within a few hours. Let the water run, and that's all I got.
Jake, Mayor, I'm gonna jump in with Jake for this. Jake, so you came to these meetings with me, so the town has come back with an.
I went to one.
Okay, what I'm saying is they came back with the independent assessment. They, basically, there was a worry that in the report given for the sewer treatment possibility, or for our segment, there was slanted because it was the town's engineer. So the town has agreed to pay for an independent engineer to come in and to review the report and just look at the plan. And the mayor wanted to hear your take on whether you thought that was okay.
If the board thinks it's a good idea, then like I said, I don't understand why I shouldn't have any say.
Well, I'm answering his response.
Well, What do you mean, you shouldn't have any
I
say?
shouldn't have any say if,
Well, you're the manager,
if the
so I go.
board wants to
Yeah.
consolidate with the town or not. It's just, whatever happens, happens. I still oversee it.
This is just an independent review of the numbers and the report
Yeah,
to give us
I mean,
another
it's
perspective, and
definitely
we're not
worth-
paying for it.
It's worth looking into.
Because we've already paid for one.
That's what I agreed with him, I thought it was worth looking into.
Yeah, if it's free.
Well, the difference
Why not?
between doing it
Can't hurt.
ourselves and doing it together was $25 million, that's pretty substantial. So, I'd like to make a proposal then, that we, I'll accept this proposal and let the town pay for an independent person to come and review the report that we got.
How the board have it.
You have to have access to the thing that we issue.
Exactly, that's the point.
Send a report.
Stephen, who takes the independent person, the town or the village?
They gave us 3 alternatives, and the one is closest is from Middletown, so they were local guys, and it's not a huge firm, so I was more comfortable with that.
Hey, can I just add something? Just, I mean, people shouldn't be commenting and shouting out to the board. It's not a public comment, it's not a public hearing. I'm just, in the public portion of the meeting for that, that's when that should be done. It's, again, you guys ever run a meeting, and one of the ways to run a meeting is you do your business, you take your votes, you have discussions, and then there's public comment at the end, or whenever you guys schedule it. That's when the public should be going. Not in the middle, because you're never gonna get anything done. And quite frankly, wait, let me just, because I've been sitting here watching. Public comment is not even required for a board agenda. I mean, I know it's on there, a lot of villages in town doing it because it's an opportunity for the public to speak on their concerns, but you're not required to have public comment on the agenda. Open meetings law doesn't require it, so you put it there because a lot of municipalities do, but the constant like calling out, you shouldn't have it at a meeting. You guys should run the meeting, take your votes, have discussions amongst yourselves. There shouldn't be this back and forth going between the crowd and the board. That should not happen, okay? And it makes for an efficient meeting if that doesn't happen. If anyone has something to say, there's a public portion comment, 3 minutes, that's what you get. That's when you have your concerns, you address to the board. If the board wants to respond, they do. If they don't, that's their prerogative. All I'm saying is, to make it an efficient meeting, that's what the public portion is. Not just calling out back and forth. I've seen it now a number of times. That will make the meeting a lot shorter and more efficient. That stops. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, something I learned at training. We are here to do business of the village, not to the audience. So this would be great if we could just continue to go through this together.
I did make the motion, can I get a second?
Make it clear.
Okay, so this is a motion that the consultants of Pittingaro and Dutch Consulting Engineers come in to review. They're pleased to provide engineering consulting services to perform an independent third-party review of the wastewater treatment evaluation prepared by Delaware. And the town has agreed to pay for
That was
that.
like way too clear. Can we make a motion that says we would like to allow the town to pay for an independent study and have access to the buildings and the documents that they need in order to complete that study?
Both the
Can
town.
I just make a comment? First of all, there's nothing that the village needs to do with that. You're just saying let the town do what they're gonna do in terms of whatever the report, whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna pay for it. But if they need our assistance and cooperation for access, that's what you're saying, that's what you're doing. So you're just basically saying if the town or their consultants need access to our facilities, we'll provide with that access. Obviously, Jake would have to be okay with that, but.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt, but they don't, right? They have all that. All they're gonna do is overlook the study that's already done.
This third-party independent wants to come in and take a look themselves. Because the whole point is, did they do what was really there, or was this some sort of a slanted one? And that's the point, that they agreed to pay for an independent one, so we could get a third party that comes in here, has no say in the matter, they're not the engineer for the town, they don't get paid by the town, they're getting paid for this one job to assess our plant and tell us the status.
Steve, what were you saying, they're coming in to see if the other party had some sort of slant, the one that?
No, because your implication was that the company that did it was in the town's pocket. And that's, you actually made that.
In fact, the 3 board members went behind the mayor's back.
That's the problem.
Okay,
Now that they didn't
that's
get-
why we're doing the independent study. Can we stick to the
Well,
motion
now
and
that
vote
they
on
didn't
it?
get the first way, they're gonna take another bite at the apple at the village's expense. They have problems with the sewer plant out there, that was proven. We don't have any problems. That's it.
Just on quick on that motion you're gonna make, whoever comes to inspect village property, make sure they have the proper insurance. So I would make your motion that if they're gonna cooperate, as long as they have the proper insurance, subject to the village review and the attorney review, that's satisfied with the insurance requirements, they can come in.
Got it. Does that mean like certified, insured, additional insured?
Yeah, just make them guys additional insurance, like any other vendor.
We get a second?
Yeah, just motion to
I made the
cooperate.
motion, now I need a second.
I'll second and cooperate.
And cooperate, not fund, because it's the town's funding, but you're not paying for this.
Cooperate, not fund.
All right, Stephen?
All right.
Randy?
Aye.
Definitely not.
Aye.
None. Joe?
All right, yeah, I just got a couple things today. So March 2026, we had 168 reports. The officers are still taking well to the new system, still learning it, but everything is increasing as far as their workload and how they're able to do things. St. Pat's Ramble went off without any issues. We do have a walk that we're helping the school with coming up. Just the students are walking through the village. And we have the Little League Parade on April 25th. And then I do have, we also have the Burn Jag grant is being processed by the state. From what I understand, it should hopefully be released, the funds, when the budget is approved for the state. So hopefully we can get that for 2 vehicles, which is $120,000. No match or anything.
Nice.
Free money. And I just got 2 letters to read here from
Your state representatives, tell them to get to work approving that budget.
So I got a letter from Sergeant Goldbach wrote me the other day about an incident that happened on March 28th, 2026 at approximately 1:19 p.m. Officer Sherman Gallagher was dispatched to a medical call involving a 77-year-old female that had fallen and sustained an injury. Officers arrived on scene. They located the subject on the ground with blood on her head and chest. They were able to clean the blood away and establish the extent of the injuries, and were able to hold pressure on the wound until the EMS arrived to the scene to transport the patient to the hospital for further evaluation. It was discovered at the hospital that this subject did have a brain bleed, and the actions of these 2 officers are obviously greatly appreciated by this department and patients' families.
And it saved your life.
And it saved their life. And they happen to be here today, so. Great job, guys.
If I could interrupt you for just 1 second, I feel like we do get caught up in the task of being outwardly grateful and thankful for the service that we get, not from just a police department, but from this police department, and also being stewards of the community and having to worry about the budget and the dollars and cents of it. But half the people at that table have come to my homes and saved people in my family on multiple occasions. So I have a father-in-law that is on the older side and has had a stroke and multiple medical issues, and an elderly grandmother that also lives in the village that was able to put someone on the phone the other day because I couldn't get to her fast enough. And they were able to identify and knew where the phone was, and she was alone, and they waited and did all the things that are in their job, but they didn't have to know where her phone was and that they could pick up and call me back if she was nervous and uncomfortable. So I would just like to say thank you, because there are people that sat in my kitchen while I'm making Christmas cookies because my elderly grandmother fell off the stool. I mean, they've been in very serious, and personal situations, and they've never, ever been anything but professional, helpful, kind, and I do appreciate that. You guys are wonderful, not just because you're a police department, but because you're our police department, and I do want to make sure that we continue to extend that gratitude to you all the time. It's not unnoticed and it's not unappreciated.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, to that note, there's a lot of work that these guys do that, there's only a handful of people that see, and, we're dealing with people on the worst days of their lives at times, and that's what they deal with on a daily basis. So I do actually have another one. On March 26, 2026, at around 4:50, officers Vixanovich and Sherman were dispatched to a cardiac arrest. They arrived in less than a minute, and after being dispatched, they found the subject lying in their bed. They quickly moved them to an open space on the ground and immediately started CPR. EMS arrived 8 minutes later, and as you know, with any cardiac arrest, the minutes count. EMS took over care, and they were able to transport the subject to the hospital with still having, keeping them alive long enough to be transported to the hospital, giving them the best chance of survival. And I'd just like this letter to serve as a commendation to Officer Sherman and McSonage for their life-saving efforts. And the last thing is, the PBA would like to say something if that is allowed at this point, or if it would be in the public portion. I know you mentioned that before, Leanne.
Well, your staff, it's different, so it's not a.
Well, I'm staff,
You're asking the PBA?
the PBA.
Let's PBA, then that's a public portion.
Okay, public portion is. Thank you.
Thanks, Joey. Goes without saying, you guys are great. Trustee reports?
We did receive a department report that was distributed from the senior center director, and it's appreciated.
Trustee updates? Steve?
I'm not gonna do one right now, I didn't prepare something.
You didn't do nothing?
I didn't prepare anything. We've been working on the open space, but we couldn't get it done in time.
Yeah, working with Senator Rollison as much as we can get him here to look at the state of the roads ad nauseum and ride down them and see what can be done and continue to write letters and pass petitions for some items, working on all the grants. And I think the work that was done this year on the budget is different than any other budget I've been a part of, and I think there's a lot more collaboration and support and questions answered ahead of time, so that I think there may be things we will never agree on that are on this approved budget as a board, but we all came to the table with a lot more, and we're able to support the department heads, and the department heads, I feel they were empowered to talk about their own budget, so I am proud of us with all of our boards and all for that, and I think that we can look forward to a better and better process with the budget every year, so that's what we've been working on mostly this month. Thank you guys for that.
No, budget, all month.
Cynthia?
Yep, also working on the budget, reading different contracts, and again, with the training that we started taking, being a new trustee here in the village, it helps to go to the trainings to understand budgets, how they work, different divisions. The math alone will make your head spin. But again, reading the contracts even works, but understanding it, you need training for that. But I look forward to taking that training next month, and that's all I'll have. I get the time back.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for seeing that here. I met with the controller's office recently. They had a local representative come down here, especially for you guys on the job here in our village employees. He left his number. He'll help you out with any kind of retirement or anything like that. So that's at Village Hall. Again, people are asking about this non-sanctuary village. I'll explain it again. It's nothing more than if our police make an arrest and the guy's wanted by the federal government, they hand the person over to the federal government. That's all it is. If the guy's got a warrant, the person has a warrant for the federal government, they don't let him go. They turn it over to the federal government. That way he's not free to roam and commit another crime. One thing that I do, and I love doing this, I stop in municipalities all over when I go on vacation or something like that. And I speak with their managers, their mayors, their presidents. Some places have presidents in West Virginia. They run their municipalities. And I find out a lot of stuff about it, and I bring it back here. That's my education here. Now, one thing I want to touch on, I was very hurt, very upset on this thing. The village manager. Okay, this village manager was a suggestion. It came from consulting a major developer in this village, as well as a major investor, and landlords, and the village businesses, and some folks here. It's no secret that Orange County is changing, becoming less rural and more of a bedroom community in New York City than it has in the past. Similar to Rockland and Westchester County. Westchester County has many village managers, administrators within their county. We are becoming Westchester County, growing leaps and bounds, and this village is growing even more than that, faster. Me personally welcoming almost 700 people in the last 7 years. Again, this was something I was bringing forward after doing research, after consulting, again, a major developer in this village who said, this is the way we need to go. Then I'm being told I'm incompetent. I'm incompetent. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not incompetent, folks. I have my own businesses. I have my own investments. But I'm smart enough to know to ask people. I'm not incompetent. And I don't do it on the taxpayer's expense when I go to these places. I don't put in for mileage or anything. I go, hey, let me just stop in here and talk to that person. Again, it was just a suggestion, a direction we may go into. And I don't deserve to be ridiculed for an idea, because that doesn't make us a board. While I was on vacation too, actually it was a business vacation, I found that you can have resident parking. I was in one municipality, Anastasia Island. They have resident parking with businesses all around them. Steak places, they have ice cream places, all these wings places that they sell souvenirs, and they're all around the residents, just like here on Hanover Street. And right there, big letters, resident parking only, resident ID only. So I asked some of the people there, the person who owned the ice cream place goes, I live right there. She goes, if we didn't have resident parking, our place would be packed with people. She said, we have to protect ourselves. So these are things I look into. These are where I get my ideas from. I don't just pull them out of the sky. So that's my report. Thank you. 3-minute comment for folks. It's 5 after 10. Does anybody want to talk?
Can we take a recess really quick, a break? That's the best. I'm sorry. So me too.
Good evening, board. So just for clarification, we're just wondering why the vote was tabled, just for, to let our board know, and when will it be tabled until?
Jeff, I can answer that. When we talked, okay, we spoke, Charlie was president at the time, we came to an understanding. We said, what do I do, bring it back to the trustees? I says, no. No, you go to all of them on your own. You speak with them all, you let me know. We'll go from there. When I spoke to you on this, you said, nobody seems to have a problem with it. We didn't have any feedback. Okay, all right, that's it. I did not want to get into anybody else's mind, try to push anybody either way. When he came to me yesterday, I said, okay, we'll do it. I signed a memorandum of understanding, or what was it? Yeah. And to bring it in front of the board. The board has the right to vote against it. That's how, so it was tabled, because they were saying that they didn't have enough time to look at it, they got questions or whatever. That's where we stand.
I said it right from the beginning, since the very first meeting. It wasn't a new thing. I'm not going to do any questions tonight, no.
That's the misrepresentation of the discussion we had, can you expand on that?
Yeah, so there were questions, right? So they didn't vote to deny it, they just voted to table it because there were questions, and they need to ask questions whether it be and look at the agreement. So that's basically it. So that's all. I mean, they have a right to basically go through and look at the terms. Some of them haven't done that yet, so they have the right to table it. Again, they're not denying it, they're not rejecting it, they just have questions on it, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize on that. I apologize. What he said is,
Table too. That's all, so I can notify our attorney, because he's gonna wonder.
From my standpoint, as far as I know.
Have your
we haven't
attorney
had a
call
chance
me.
to discuss it.
How about that? That's probably the best way to do it. Just have your attorney contact me. That's the best way to do it.
yeah, I apologize, Jeff. It was my fault. I jumped in on here on this. It was my fault. I thought that everything was okay. That's what it is. And my point is, everybody has the right to vote against it or for it. But I thought everybody knew about it, so my fault on that. I understand. I'm explaining it.
It was sent out last Wednesday, everybody did.
I'm sorry.
Everybody did receive it last week? Just
We've all received it, we've never discussed it as a board, never, not one time, and it was signed on the basis, from our understanding, what was conveyed to us was that someone represented that Nobody had any questions to you, and so the mayor signed it without ever discussing it with anyone on this board, which is not really ideal when you're supposed to be approving it and redlining to give back to you to then go back and ratify. So, as soon as
Okay,
possible.
so I take ownership of that.
Thank you.
Okay, I take ownership of that. It still doesn't leave the fact that I asked them to all speak with you.
The
So
way that you're representing it is we can vote it down, but you're in
you
favor.
can, we can all vote. I didn't say it was, I didn't say it was, I didn't say it was in
From
favor
my own
or for.
standpoint, we pay that man a lot of money to be here. I wanted him to be able to discuss it.
Yeah. What I said was, I said, send it to Lino, and we'll all, and I let everybody look at it. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted it all transparent. Okay, so I take ownership of signing it. Okay? So just explain it, that's all. What else do you want me to say? I take ownership of it.
Have your guy call me.
Okay.
Yeah, easy, easiest thing to do. Chief, you can give them my number.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so?
So I have some comments and questions. Of course, no one has to answer the questions, but Mr. Reno, I don't know your last name, so I'll say Counselor. Counselor, there's discussion about applications and forms and whatnot. I guess they didn't pre-exist up until now? These applications for these events didn't exist until now? Is that why?
Events forms?
Yeah.
That's what I see, so I'm trying to make you get you.
So, would that be a negligence on previous attorneys of this village for having that?
It's not a negligence question or not, it's really just.
Should it have been existing up until now?
I'm not gonna answer that.
You're not gonna answer? Okay. I think we all know the answer to that. Obviously, you're better at your job than the previous attorneys because these things shouldn't be deficiencies. They should have already been in place. The village has been having events for who knows how long. Moving on to that. Public corruption, a big problem for me. I think it should be a big problem for everybody. And when we're asking questions, is the DPW allowed to work on a caboose that belongs to the village? Is the DPW allowed to snow plow private parking lots at the behest of a trustee? I would think that's considered public corruption. I don't know why a trustee would ask a DPW member to put him on the spot to plow a private parking lot. Would that be corruption, sir, in your definition? That happens?
You give a comment?
Okay.
Say your comment.
I think we all know the answer to that. Talking about the police. You guys table a contract that you say you've had for a week or acknowledge that you've had for a week. Maybe you read it, maybe you didn't. You have to decide on it. These guys are entitled to know. Of course, I'm biased in favor of the police because of my background, but I think most people in the public are biased in favor of the police. And understand something. In my time in the police department, we were underpaid drastically in the city, and now we do a lot better. But what happens when you have an unmotivated, underpaid police department is public corruption. That's when they decide, do I take a chance of doing something wrong or having the money to feed my family? Number one. Number two, so not paying your police properly is a public corruption hazard. Not paying your police properly is a public risk of life and limb for the public and the police officers. The chief said sometimes they have to have one car out or two. I mean, you guys have never done the job. You don't understand what it is to do by yourself. And you don't pay them for what they do. People could easily say, and I've done it, what the hell do these cops do in this village anyway? They're not in the South Bronx or the worst parts of the city or Newburgh City or whatever. Police are like military. They get paid for what they might have to do, not what they actually do. So they might have to put themselves in front of a shotgun. They might have to put themselves in front of a fire. They might have to put themselves in front of a speeding train, okay? It's not what they do, it's what they might have to do, and what they're ready to do, and what they're prepared to do that they get paid for, okay? The last thing you guys should be worried about is, are the cops getting paid too much? The question is, are the cops getting paid enough? Every other meeting, it seems like we're swearing in a new one. That should be a message. You're worried about people leaving the community and because it's too expensive. You're not worried about the people who protect your community from leaving because it's not getting paid enough. Okay? And for every person that leaves, someone is buying their house for some massive amount of money that the person sold it didn't pay for. So it's not a sob story when someone decides to move on and sells their house and makes a few $100,000. Stop dilly-dallying with nonsense, get the real job done, it's not that hard, and stop embarrassing everybody.
Thank you.
Doug?
Good evening, everybody. As you are well aware, Mr. Lavelle and I have been very concerned about the Hanover project, which you all passed at the last meeting. It seems that everybody points the finger at the building inspector that he gave authorization for this special parking situation. Mr. Lavelle and I, on at least 5 or 6 occasions, have emailed, gone up to the village hall and asked for the procedure on how we can appeal the determination by the building inspector, and we've gotten nothing so far. Nothing. There's no form, there's no formality. Is this going to get corrected, or?
So I can answer that? Because first of all, I've answered this question, and I responded to Debbie. You know, we don't advise the village, we don't advise residents on how to sue the village or how to do stuff with the village.
We're not suing the village, we want to appeal the decision.
I read the emails, so I understand you have an issue, right? So it's not for us, it's not for us to figure out, you have an issue with that, I understand, right? But it's not for the village to tell you how to go about, because there could be a potential issue of litigation. There could be an Article 78. There could
But this
be
is your procedure.
It's not a procedure, but
It's your building inspector.
there.
Who does the building inspector answer to then? Himself?
The building inspector answers to the village, right? And
is this not the village?
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just saying your email specifically asked because the way I read it basically sounded like you're gearing up for some type of litigation against the village. My position is very simple. We don't advise residents or anybody else how to sue the village. That's not what we do. If you have an issue, get counsel. They'll tell you how to do it, and then you can take action accordingly. But that's not this board's job, nor my job, to tell you how to take action against the village.
Is it not the village's responsibility to have a procedure in place for us to appeal? We're not suing, we're appealing.
That's in state law. You can get someone to tell you how to do that. It's not for the village to advise you how to appeal.
Okay.
Next up.
Thank you. 3 quick things. I'd like to thank the board for your support in pointing me to the vacancy on the AHRB. I look forward to working with the other members of the board and the existing members, as well as the entire board of trustees and all citizens of the village. I do appreciate that. Microphones. I request that the board look into additional creative solutions. Please put your heads together and maybe get ideas from all of us to expedite the procurement of at least 1 more microphone by the next meeting. I understand there's work being done on this by many people on many fronts. I just thought of this while sitting here. From open mic at the bookstore, I think I have a microphone that I'd be happy to donate if it's compatible. And last thing is trustee emails. I've checked the website several times. I cannot still find all the mayor, deputy mayor, all trustees new.gov emails. So maybe I'll email the clerk and maybe I can get them that way. But there's other people that I'm sure are looking for those emails to email members of the board or the entire board. So I would request that that be put on the website as soon as possible. Thank you.
Just a couple of things. Is there a difference between, or can you tell me the difference between the caboose and the dog park? Did somebody different own both of them? Or did we not just okay a volunteer to come in here and work at the dog park? Fix the wood, get donations. I mean, this is what we're talking about. This is where I was hoping the lawyer would speak out, as he has done all night long, speak out and say, hey, listen, we need a procedure. We need procedure. There's nothing funny, Randy, and I'm surprised that NICOM, and yes, I'm breaking decorum, and I can use names because they're elected officials, but there's nothing funny. I don't need the head nod, the eyes rolled, and the laughter. I don't need it. I am a taxpayer here, and I have a right to ask a question, and I don't need the behavior. And if you want to know why we yell out, because the three of us have learned, the three of us have learned from the best how to yell out, okay? I help pay for the training that you all go to. Clearly, they have not taught you how to behave like a grown-up. And I'm not lying. It's all on tape. This guy, if he watched all the meetings, he probably never would have taken the job. Because you are one of the founders of this behavior. You. Okay? That's that. Second of all, frozen ropes. Stephen, I'll ask you. They have come here 4 years by the good grace of our former mayor. They have used our fields for zero, for free. There's not even a certificate of insurance in the office. And they charge each kid $250.
I would like to answer that. So, Frozen Ropes is a sponsor.
Can you have your 3 minutes?
Oh,
and-
sorry.
Okay. So there's that. What I originally came here to ask about is, you had mentioned, we had a moment of silence for Heather Connolly. Joe had reached out to me, I might run over, sorry. Joe reached out to me. He said he also reached out, I think, to you, Cindy, that he wanted to possibly have something in memorandum for her. He had mentioned a street or whatever. I just would like you guys to consider that. Maybe when we do the footbridge, maybe when we do something like that, a planter, something, because she was a big part of the community. That's all. Thank you.
I would like to address it. I have a quick answer. So the Frozen Ropes sponsors the Little League, and they're under the Little League's insurance when they host the camp. I did bring the attention to the camp director because I did not know what they were charging, and we're looking into what the legality is on how much they're allowed to charge for that.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Can you get a certificate of insurance too, because we foiled it? And
It's under the Little League. They're part of the Little League's insurance.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
No,
That is incorrect.
I foiled it, and I never
That's
got
incorrect.
anything.
That is incorrect.
Can I put
And
up
it's also a for-profit business.
Can I put on something that Stacy said though, if Joe has reached out, also maybe it's something we can keep in mind when we're doing New York Forward for one of the streets down at the park, as that's where all of the children play, and that was her business and she ran the daycare that literally everyone went to their whole entire life. So maybe something down by the park would be appropriate for that. Yeah.
Stacy, further on your comparison with the dog park and the caboose, they were both donated.
Right.
Both donated.
And who owns the dog park?
Village of Montgomery.
Okay. So are we gonna tell that nice young fellow that he can't work there? Are we gonna do that, sir?
Again, I'll discuss with the board.
But he did come for approval on the work. That's all we're saying.
Right.
It's the same thing. So when they're gonna do
He
work,
said he's gonna do the work.
but he also gave us a list of what he was gonna do. So that's all they're asking from them, is if you're raising money for it, you
Right.
just have to tell us what you're putting in. You can't just randomly do it, because we're not covered by
I
liability.
hope that they wouldn't just go down there randomly and do it. And I think they want to ask for approval if they got their share of time on the agenda and they don't keep getting kicked off.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Jimmy Quitman, Girl Scout, gazebo over here, fire hydrants, and speed limits. It's only been about 9 months. That's all.
We set it for, you meant public hearing, did we not already do that? Speed limits? We set a public hearing at the last, we said we were going to set a public hearing. And we didn't have the local law in front of us to read to set the.
Yeah, for the village roads. So
That's
we did, I saw that. I saw it somewhere. I did see it because I drafted it.
Yeah, and we were supposed to read it on this agenda.
But it's prepared, so if you want to schedule, I have it, so it's
Let's
ready to go.
schedule it now.
But yeah, if you want to schedule a public hearing, it's just, you can do that tonight.
So I was out last month with this.
Yeah.
I will look into what's going on next, schedule it, add it to the next regular meeting agenda.
Correct. Just
Now,
schedule-
here's a question I have. I read the minutes, I wasn't here. Do we need a traffic study if we want to make it village-wide? I know in one of the meetings that you attended initially, some of the residents had shared about the speed limits on Railroad, another street, etc. They said if we wanted to make it village-wide, we made those traffic studies, is that true or not?
You're doing it, well, so I will say this, if you're gonna do all village streets at 25, right? So I have seen traffic studies done when that is considered. That's an option to do. We did that for another, we actually did for a town, I did that, and they did obtain a traffic study just to make sure that worked for the town. Actually, in that particular study, it turned out that it didn't work out 25, the police chief in that particular jurisdiction was dead against it, right? So they left it at 30. But if you want to do that, it's not a bad idea to consider it if you want to go down to 25.
But is it required?
Or don't let it require, so I'll double check that.
I think the comment might have been in context that there was a misunderstanding of whether we were trying to incorporate state roads or not.
You might be correct, yeah, if it's town-wide on non-village streets, you might be correct, but remember, the study I was talking about was town-wide, it was not just limited to town streets.
So that was a question I had.
Yeah. I don't believe so, I'll double check that, Debbie, but the law's prepared.
So we'll set a public hearing date at the next meeting on the.
If I can make the date of the publication, yes. Thank you.
Lino, I did have a question. One of Bob's concerns was the playground equipment. And I was gonna ask Jake, he had suggested that we scrap it. And I believe we have to vote to do that. Is that correct?
I didn't say scrap it.
Well-
You suggested that you were gonna scrap it. I said do something with it,
Right.
rather than have it rot behind a
But
DPW.
we can't reuse it.
So, and you said you had to do something. You can't just do it. You have to go
Right.
to a certain,
Well, we can't reuse the equipment. The insurance company was the one that asked us to remove it for liability reasons.
and that's
So
fine.
we can't afford to sell it to somebody else because we'll still be liable. But we can scrap it out. But I don't know how the procedure for that, Jake.
You guys tell me we can get rid of it, we'll throw it in the truck.
Just get a motion to dispose of it in accordance with the applicable laws.
All right, what we'll do is we'll make a motion to scrap the gym equipment that's been behind DPW for years now, that was removed when they put in the new pickleball court here and is left to rust back there.
Per the recommendation of the village's insurance program.
Yeah, for the village insurance. It was taken out and put back there and forgotten when they put those pickleball courts in. Make a motion.
Well, actually, that wasn't for pickleball. It was taken out because of liability risk, because it was,
No, it wasn't.
It doesn't really matter, honestly, to me. I just need a motion.
Right.
You're scrapping it. Just need a motion to scrap it at the suggestion of the village's insurance care. That's it, that's all I need.
perfect.
Make a motion.
I
Second.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Stephen?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
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 wow, that was really hard, I gotta tell you. That took 9 months to do that, just so you know, at least, but
2.5 years,
Thank you.
actually. In
Thank you.
writing.
I know, we got an employee's handbook. That's
2.5 years.
And, hey, Bob, just so you know, we have all the material to the roof, so Franklin's gonna be starting that real soon.
thank you. Progress, I love it.
Thanks for keeping us accountable.
Anybody else want to talk?
Seriously.
Yes, sir.
But the major thing was the hydrants that we didn't discuss, but that's okay.
Please, Bob, I want to go home.
So me and my wife just moved in here.
What's that?
Oh, my name's Ryan Panessa. My wife and I just moved on Washington Avenue. We're still fixing up the house. Nobody knows more about the lawyers than I do, trust me. But I do know something about economics, because before I owned my companies, I was an economist. And what I can warn you against right now is that raising taxes into inflationary cycles kills towns. It really does. I know that it might make sense in order to pay the bills and to work on the deficits, but there are many more unique ways for towns to raise funds than to raise property taxes on their people. Because especially moving into inflationary times, and you guys can believe all that you want, that the price of eggs is going to come down, the price of meat is going to come down, and gas is going to go back to $3. It's not. But raising taxes on the people who live here will really hurt them. On top of that, I've watched you guys for like a year now on Facebook. This is pretty bad. Like, there needs to be some kind of like synergy. Everybody needs to go in the back room. You guys need to fight it out. And then, just put it back there, leave it back there, lock it in the room, and call it a day. And then get back to doing the work that we need you guys to do here in the village. Because I ran through your budget, and this shouldn't be that hard to balance. Like, not that I'm saying you guys are doing a horrible job and you weren't given a steaming pile of shit, which you probably were. But like, there's a lot of ways to fix a lot of these problems that are super creative and are super easy to do. You actually lean on these two. What was that?
Where'd you move from?
The kids.
Did I hear that you were putting in your bid for election in the next cycle?
No, not at all. I've seen this.
Thanks very well.
Like, you guys could lean on these two here with their events, and then come up with a unique parking kind of situation. They have these apps that you download, and then you could charge everybody who comes to these events to park. And that's an extra $10 a car for the day. Like, there's no reason for you guys to be fighting with each other. Like, you guys should be working as a team. And then, I like this guy. Efficiencies. My man right here seems like he knows how to get shit done, right? I'd lean on him and ChatGPT. Like, maybe Claude, not ChatGPT. But he knows. It seems like he knows the rules and regulations, and I would kind of maybe sit down with him each individually, so you guys know what you should and shouldn't do up here.
You can keep talking.
Yeah, no, I think that you guys really need to figure it out. Like, he's not wrong in that our public comments and yelling back and forth is inhibiting you guys from doing your job, right? But you guys also need to make some time for all of us to come meet you with whoever the trustee is that oversees which ward, right? They should maybe have some type of hourly office hours that people can come and see. But yeah, I think I'm done. And there were 4 applications. My wife said she applied for that historic thing. But I don't know. Other than that,
well,
you guys have a great night.
Thank you.
Well said.
That's productive. Did we finish it off? That was positive.
No, Don's gonna come up and ruin it.
Yeah, why not?
Just one night, let us finish it.
So, at a recent meeting, I'm not sure if it was the last one or the one before that, the subject of factory was brought up in the sidewalk. I've been bringing that sidewalk up for many years with this board, and I think it was Jake that said there was a $30,000 bond for the.
I forgot what it was.
30,000.
30,000 is
That's what's
30,000.
left. Yeah, I know we gave him back 30,000. I forget what's left. I don't think it was.
At that meeting, you said there was a 30,000 bond that John O'Brien told you that existed.
Yes.
And so it's been all these years, why hasn't that sidewalk been built? We got 30 grand. Does anybody know where the 30 grand is?
Sitting in the account.
What account?
John O'Brien's bond.
So why aren't we going after that in that sidewalk then? It's been how many years?
Now we can't do the sidewalk for how much money's left in there.
That's not my problem. That's the problem that this board's created over the years, but we have the money. And I'll be honest with you guys. You were the first person that I ever heard say that there was money. For all the years that I brought it up, none of you, excluding you guys, ever mentioned any money in a bond. And I've been bringing this up, and I think you both understand.
John told me literally in our first conversation.
So why aren't we going after it? I don't get it. You're the sidewalk guy. Why?
I didn't know there was money in the bond.
Wait, you've been here for 14 years, you don't know there's money in the
I
bond?
didn't know there was money in the bond over there, unless it was brought up, unless somebody brought it up.
Okay, well, can you look into it and perhaps get that sidewalk done?
why don't we contact Anna Fumes and see if we can tie in with that DOT when they're getting for,
We could do that.
I'm only finding these things at the hydrants. I didn't know we had all these problems at the hydrants. As soon as it was brought in front of me, I said, let's take money immediately out of the fund balance. So I'll take care of it as soon as I hear about it.
Okay, so,
When I know about it, then
okay, I think it's a good idea you move on it. So that's been a long time, reflects a lot of interest. The money's there, let's use it.
Jake, are you in contact with her at all about the DOT TAP grant? So I'll get you guys together on that because they're already getting money to get the sidewalk from the high school all the way back to town. That's what I tie in.
Okay.
Anybody else wants to speak? Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.